Welcome back to Season 4 of As the Peach Rots. In this suspenseful fourth season, we marinate the feeder of Georgia's political elite in the tangy vinegar of accountability. In a state where the odor of mendacity toxifies the air, our perspicacious team of chatroom investigators is on a mission to peel back the layers of deceit and uncover the truth. From backroom deals to embezzlement scandals, no stone is left unturned in our pursuit of justice. But as tensions rise and alliances shift, who can be trusted in the Peach State? Join us for a season ripe with virality, where even the fruit isn't safe from corruption, because sometimes the juiciest scandals are right under your nose.
Grace and peace, everyone. Grace and peace. Happy Wednesday to you all. We're back. Tonight, what we're going to do is we're going to just kind of do a recap, if you will, of a high 30,000 foot view of the YSL case. And I have a couple of guests coming in that are going to take your questions. So if you have a question pertaining to the case, please drop it in the chat. Of course, put the word question before it. That'll make it a little bit easier to identify it later on. I want to give you an example of kind of what we're dealing with as it relates to this YSL case. I thought of a pretty good analogy. So it's summer break, and Lady Dear Woke Christian and Chief Executive Second Born have come up with this, dare I say, very, very aggressive idea that Chief Executive Second Born would swap her room with Lady Dear Woke Christian's office upstairs, because her office is maybe 2 square feet bigger than Chief Executive Second Born's. So they've come up with this crazy idea to swap their rooms. Now, mind you, both of their rooms are full chock with Second Born's living, Lady Dear Woke Christian's office space, and it is to say it's been a dumpster fire upstairs is an understatement of the year. However, in order to make this work, there are so many small little details that all have to work together in concert, in tandem. What I noticed is it's very similar to this YSL case. There are so many little things that don't seem like they're big things initially, but they can really throw off the entire story. So as you know, this past week I told you that I went to IKEA. And so we got all this IKEA furniture for Chief Executive Second Born's room. And shout out to Second Born. She actually put together an entire dresser. I don't even understand it. She put together an entire dresser. So she did a great job too. It looks fantastic. But it took her like 6 hours to do it though, but she did it. And she did it all by herself. I helped her with two pieces of it, but she did it all by herself. Now, granted, it's in my living room down here and it has to get upstairs, but that's my point. There's a lot of little small details that if something goes awry, it's going to throw the entire thing off into crazy cattywampus land. And so kind of like with this YSL case, there's so many small, fine, minute details that you might overlook, like just the judge's meeting with the prosecution. You might not think much about it and think that, well, this case has been going on for better than a year and a half, and there's 6 men whose lives are hanging in jeopardy, and so on and so forth. Surely something simple like a judge having a meeting with a prosecution, that shouldn't be that big of a deal. But oh, is it? Just like with Lady Dear Woke Christian and Chief Executive Second Born swapping their rooms. There's so many hangers and baskets and bookcases and shelves, and this is going to the dump and this is going to Goodwill. It's all over the place. But each one of those things is a small thing. It's just a bag that's going to Goodwill. It's just a bag that's going to the little free library. That's not a big deal. But when you look at it in the whole, that there's probably like 5 bags that are going to Little Free Library, and there's about 9 bags going to Goodwill. And oh yeah, where's this bed going? And how did you get this bookcase in here? And why in the world is there a file cabinet in Lady Dear Woke Christian's office in the closet? Like, who put that in there? I did, like 8 years ago. And now look. So now those little small details, kind of like this YSL case, they're all over the place. And one little small fox can spoil the entire vine with you. And then I also have a legal expert who will be coming in shortly to answer your questions. Because I know every time I go to a channel, every time I look in the chat, there's tons and tons and tons of questions about the law, tons and tons and tons of questions about due process and the proper candor and so on and so forth. So I tapped a few experts to come in and kind of answer your questions. And we'll just do that and just have fun all night, just answering questions and hopefully bring everything up to speed where it makes a lot of sense to you. Because as far as I know, at this current juncture, the YSL case is basically on pause. So it's sitting at a long red light and it's on pause. Now, if you're not familiar, my name is Jason. I am a content creator here in Atlanta, Georgia. So all of these cases are literally in my backyard, down the street, around the corner a piece from where I am right now. But then also as a Christian, I like to just look at these things and maybe give a different perspective, give a different look, a different angle, if you will, different flavor or coloring to it to just help you see. And at the end of the day, hopefully give you a little better perspective. So that's what I like to do. And look at this guy right here. Who is this guy? Who is this guy? Who is this guy? If you don't know this gentleman right here, this is my brother. This is my actual biological brother, James. By the way, shout out to James. You know what? Let's just let him know we appreciate him. James, put James in the chat. Now, granted, he's older than me, but I got the better looks. So definitely tell James we appreciate him for stopping by today. And I agree with that. ADA love has been a treat in this trial. And there's a lot of weirdness that goes along with that. But as James said, this trial might actually be a wrap. So we'll see how it all goes out. What's going on? Shannon, good to see you so much. And retired's in the building. Deborah C., good to see you. Thank you for stopping by and being a part of the best live chat on the planet. I see Sarah over here saying what's up to the peeps. Always good to see you. Juju Eyeball, long time no see. We're going to fill you in on this evening with YSL. You're going to get your YSL fix. So is the trial postponed until October? Tom Ray says, I don't think October. The Trump interference case is on appeal until October. So we got that trial that people have actually kind of forgot about the interference case. The interference trial with Fonnie Willis, that's another Fulton County doozy. That's actually been on pause till October. This right here, they could very well decide and make a decision within a few weeks. So it might not be, the YSL case might not be on pause that long. It could be. It might be on pause indefinitely, a.k.a. they just throw it out and declare a mistrial. So there's a lot of different moving pieces as in regards to that. But again, like most people forgot about the crazy Trump interference case. And please keep in mind, on next Thursday, there's supposed to be the sentencing for Trump is supposed to happen. That's going to be another crazy one. There is so much insanity in the news. When Cat Williams said that 2024 was going to be the year of exposure, I don't think he knew exactly how right he was going to be. The question is whether or not the transcript was redacted. Okay, there is a notion, and let me tell you this right now. I am doing my very best to say that I think, this is me, I think Judge Glanville is probably a decent judge. I think, however, Judge Glanville made a whole bunch of bad decisions in this trial for whatever reason. Maybe he was tired. Maybe he wants to be retired. Maybe he's just sick and tired of hearing rap. I don't know. But I think I'm not assuming that the gentleman is a bad guy. Like there's some people you look at and you say, that's a bad person, that every now and then they do something nice or they do something good. I'm assuming the best of Judge Glanville. And what I mean by that is I don't think that he would, in the face of everybody looking at those transcripts from the ex parte meeting that dropped on Monday, I don't believe that he would send in something redacted that said something, to cut out some major, Judge Glanville pull out a gun on Woody and said, you better testify. And they redacted that. I just don't believe that happened. I don't. And there's a couple reasons why. I've heard several people who were involved in that, a.k.a. Kayla Bumpus. I've never heard her say that there was something redacted from it. So there's one reason. Then also, you got Weaver, who is the court reporter. She would have to be dirty as today is Wednesday. And I just don't believe that. I just can't. Now, does that mean that they can't be dirty? By no means. That just means Jason is not convinced that they're dirty. They might be as dirty again. They might be as wrong as the day is long. All I'm saying again is I just don't believe they would do that because everybody is looking at their work. It's not like you're doing it over in a corner, hiding, but everything is done in public and open. And I think that would be really, now, could it happen? Absolutely. Do I think it happened? I don't think so. I don't think that, I disagree, James. I don't think they're trying to cover their tracks. I think at this point, their tracks are clear. You put your tracks in cement and it's dried already. It's too late. You can't cover those tracks. Those tracks are done. It's a wrap. Everybody saw it. So now if you redacted it and didn't share it, then that would only put you in a more precarious position than if you had just went ahead and just up. So I don't think that they redacted it. I'm not willing to burn them down like that. However, let me say again, I am perfectly fine with being wrong. If they come up with the recording and it shows that, Judge Glanville put Woody in a headlock and said, "You better testify." And then he body slammed him on the desk and then did a, people's elbow. And it says that, or they show a video or show the audio. I'm willing to say I was wrong. Absolutely. I got no problem with that. I just don't believe they did it. Now, that doesn't mean, again, the 95th caveat here. I'm not saying that it cannot happen at all. I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is I just don't believe they would do that in public. Everybody could see it. So, but watch this. And then the other reason why I don't believe they redacted anything is because what they gave was so bad. It's so bad already. There's no reason to redact anything. It's like, why take it out? You've given us so much red meat. Why take out the little 2 pounds over here on the side? I ain't worried about the 2 pounds. You gave me a whole literal ton. You gave me a whole brisket. Bro, we about to eat. You understand? So I'm not worried about the fact that you trimmed off a little ham hock on the side. I ain't even worried about that. You're going to keep the ham hock. What you gave us was enough bloody meat to feed a whole feast. So, because it's really bad. And me and Kat, not Williams, we read through the thing on Monday and it's really bad. So there's enough bad right there that I don't think there needs to be any kind of conspiracies. But again, I could be wrong. But what I am not wrong about, I'm telling you exactly what I'm not wrong about. I'm not wrong about my guest who is ready to get in here. You know what? I think we're just going to bring our guest in.
Now, I want to thank you so much for allowing me to be on your platform. When I first started YouTube, you were one of the major channels that reached out to me. Not even major, any channel that made me feel at home in the YouTube community. And if I look down from time to time, just looking at you, but my camera's up. So just work with me if you don't mind.
Not a problem at all. Let me do this real quick. I just want the chat real quick. We have TalkThatLaw here. If y'all could, please, just to confirm that you all can hear, can y'all put TTL for TalkThatLaw in the chat just to make sure everybody can hear? So go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell us about yourself and whatnot. I'm going to just be watching, make sure everybody can hear properly.
Okay, yeah, no problem. I go by TalkThatLaw. I started a YouTube channel a couple of months ago. And it started off as like a small thing. I wanted to help the masses. I normally work with my clients. I'm a Texas trial attorney, and I help my clients on an individual basis, one by one. And I said, how can I do this on a larger scale? So I decided to start streaming on YouTube a couple of months ago, and now it just kind of like took off. We had some. Oh, go ahead.
No, welcome to the party. Oh, yeah. I'm glad to have you.
Yeah, thank you so much. And it just kind of took off from there. We had some guests come on the show, and that just really exploded things. And here we are. For those who may be wondering, I'm going on my 5th year. I graduated in 2019 and passed the bar in 2019. So at the end of this year, I'll be getting my 5th year in the game, in the law.
Congratulations,
game.
Man.
So I wanted to just give advice to like the masses, and the best way to do it is when a trial is going on, such as the YSL trial, because people are so interested in things like this. So now I can give legal advice while watching something interesting, and we're learning stuff about Fifth Amendment, immunity, purging, impeachment, all type of words.
I love it. Well, thank you so much. My moderators already dropped Talk That Law in the chat. So please, if y'all have not already, please bless yourself. Do something for yourself today. Go by and check out Talk That Law. Make sure you like and subscribe to his channel. He's been doing an excellent job. He said he's only been here a few months on YouTube, but he's definitely a professional in his craft. And I think that's ultimately what you want. You want somebody who can talk. You want somebody who can mesmerize you and all that kind of stuff like that. But definitely Talk That Law has done a great job. So I'm glad to have you. Thank you for coming in on tonight. So
thank you.
As I told you in the email, I really wanted to give everybody an opportunity to kind of get some of these questions answered. So we all have ideas. We've all watched Law and Order and Suits, and we go even far back as Perry Mason. We've all watched that, and we all kind of have an idea. Well, I think we all have a decent understanding of what's right and what's wrong. So we saw things on the YSL trial that we could probably say that's wrong, but we don't know legally why it's wrong. And then even worse, we might think it's wrong, but legally it might not be wrong. So we just I wanted to use this as an opportunity to give the chat an opportunity to ask questions, and I'll give you an opportunity to maybe tease it out, explain it as best you can. If there's something that's germane to Texas, maybe that's different from Georgia, then you can just say, hey, according to my understanding of Georgia law or whatnot, you please, by no means is Talk That Law your legal advisor. And please remember again, I am a pre-K law student. I know nothing except seasons 1 through 7 of Suits and all of Law and Order and Special Victims Units. That's all I know. So please, I know nothing. So do not take any of this as legal advice. This is only just for educational purposes so that we all can have more information to do our own research and make those kind of proper decisions. All right, I want to make sure, because I don't want anybody out here trying to pretend like they're a law student like me.
No, I'm glad you said that. And I endorse everything you said. Just to add this as well, your channel is your channel, so anything I say, don't take it out on him.
Oh no, they can email management. They can email management. Now look, if you have a problem with anything, email management. Now come on now. I ain't had no dusty comments in a while, so please.
Right.
I ain't had no dusty comments in a while. This one's a good one off the bat. Are you good with go ahead and start and answering some questions and kind of get?
Oh yes.
Okay, here we go.
Yes.
Okay, so Rhodes, right. Dogs and Conversation says, can you force immunity in Texas like what was done in Georgia with Lil Woody?
So that pretty much comes from the federal government. Congress enacted a law that basically said that you cannot be compelled to incriminate yourself, but you can be compelled to testimony if your testimony is valuable enough to the prosecutors that they need it so bad that they will give you immunity for anything you say while on the stand, whether it's evidence directly that implicates you in a crime or indirectly. So it's been going on for a while, and a lot of times states such as Texas, Georgia, and the majority of the states in the union follow that pattern. So, and it's not something that you can say, I don't want it like a gift. No, they're going to put it in your lap.
So and I misunderstood that because I think most of us think that pleading the Fifth Amendment means I don't have to tell you anything. So this is my brother, my actual biological brother right here, James. If James was guilty of, throwing gerbils off a highway bridge, I'm thinking I don't have to go and testify for James at all because I too was throwing gerbils off a highway bridge, but they want to arrest James. Most people, I think, and myself included, said, well, pleading the Fifth means I don't have to say anything, whether it be that, yes, I saw James throwing the gerbils, but no, apparently I do have to tell what I saw, even though I too was doing the crime or I too committed a crime. Am I understanding correctly?
Yes, in a sense. It's basically designed that you can you're not forced to say anything that would incriminate you, whether it's in your jurisdiction or the federal government or any other jurisdiction that can prosecute you. But as far as if you're not in jeopardy of going to jail, you're not in jeopardy of going to prison, then they can force you to testify by way of extending immunity. And we got to remember, like any other right, and when you really look at the rights, we got the First Amendment right, freedom of speech. But if you yell bomb in a crowded, theater, you can be prosecuted for that.
For sure.
You're injured. Also, as far as you have the right to bear arms. But if you're a convicted felon or, a person that may have serious domestic violence issues, then your Second Amendment right can go away. So a lot of these rights are not really absolute, and the Fifth Amendment is no exception.
And I'm trying to work with it, and I appreciate you coming on to share that with us. 'Cause I think a lot of us, when we saw it and we heard it, and especially read it in the infamous ex parte transcript, it did seem shady. So I agree with Shawnee right here. It seems shady, but you're correct. You don't have absolute privileges and rights. So you can't just assume, again, because I have the Fifth, I can do things that are wrong. So my sibling asked, where are you in Texas, if you don't mind? Is that okay?
Oh, Houston. Yeah, Houston. I practice normally in the Houston area, and Houston is so big, Houston and the surrounding county, so I'm up and down the highway if you're in close proximity. I got you. I'm pretty sure he probably needs some help because he's been throwing gerbils in Dallas. So,
all right. So watch out for him. Okay, and for those persons that are just coming in, I like picking on gerbils. I don't know why. I'm just trying to keep it sane. I don't want to say something. I don't want to admit to any crimes because y'all will be over there telling somebody on me. So here's Karen is my name. And she says, question, what if the witness is not a criminal? I'm not a criminal. I've done no crime. I know exactly where she's going. I like this. But they simply do not want to testify. Can you still, people are really bothered by this compelling to testify. TalkThatLaw. So you got to help us out here. What about that?
I mean, if you're not in jeopardy of incriminating yourself, then you have to testify. And oftentimes, as a trial lawyer, we subpoena people who don't want to be there, but we need your testimony.
So let me, okay, because this is where I think, sadly, I'm watching what's happening here in Atlanta. There are a lot more organized groups of people who commit crimes in Georgia, a.k.a. gangs. So there are a lot of innocent people who probably have seen gangs do gang things at the mall, on the highway, at the gas station. And I'm just minding my business, walking my pet gerbil, living my life. And I look up and I see some people doing some really bad things. The police capture them, and lo and behold, I get home, I get a subpoena in my mailbox, or however they do it, and it says, you saw this group of people doing bad things on, Wednesday the 15th while you were out walking your pet gerbil. You have to come in and talk. Well, I'm worried because I don't want them to, kind of like Mr. Bean, kind of like some of these other witnesses during this trial, like, I don't want them to know who I am, where I am, and where I live. They literally put Bean's information out in public. I mean, that's scary. So these people are not nice people. They're not coming to invite me to Sunday school. They're not going to come and sing Christmas carols in my front yard. They're going to invite me to meet Jesus, and they're going to probably do something else to me. I'm worried. So I'm kind of with Karen right here. How do they do that?
I mean, it's one of those things. You have witnesses that sometimes they come, and just because you're called to come, no one can force you to remember or recall seeing anything. So if you get on the stand and your safety is, of concern, I was walking, but hey, I didn't see nothing that was going on that way.
I was on my phone, y'all. I was on my phone.
Hey, come on here. I'm telling you.
Oh man, that's okay.
It happens, but if there's a chance that you're involved some type of way, and you have a right you need to assert, then I would definitely suggest lawyering up before you show up at the courthouse and get under oath.
Oh, this is a good one. Kenneth Wood said, was it legal to lock up Steele, the lawyer?
I mean, the judge has inherent authority just by way of being a court to enforce the court, procedure. And the judge, I wouldn't say that what he did was illegal, but I will say what he did was right. And obviously that's two different things. The judge has an authority to enforce the courtroom rules if someone's being disrespectful, because if not, they lose their power. No one would respect the court. But in Brian Steele's situation, I think it was kind of different. He was really looking out for the rights of his clients, which he is expected, to do.
Do you think Glanville thought that he was right in what he was doing? Because to me, it just seemed like he was wrong as two left shoes. And Brian Steele was calling him out, saying, you're wrong for doing this. Like, how dare you ask me to divulge where I got the information from? You should not have done it.
Right, and I normally give him a hard time. I'm going to go out on a limb and say, even if he thought that he was doing the right thing, maybe he got in the back room and maybe he didn't know what was going to happen. Maybe Miss Love and Miss Hilton, called him and said, hey, we need to have a meeting. And then next thing you know, the meeting just spiraled out of control. But instead of fixing it, he doubled down.
Right.
He didn't tell the defense team. He didn't tell Steele Adams or none of the other attorneys. But he went a step further and said, I'm going to put you in jail. Not only put you in jail, but put you in jail for the maximum 20 days. 20 days.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
No. I said not only put him in jail for the maximum, we know what happened. It spiraled out of control. He even threatened Miss Kayla Bumpus, and she came on TalkThatLaw. She spoke with us briefly, and he threatened her, with a show cause order, and that was an attempt to intimidate her to put her in jail as well. So instead of fixing or trying to stop the leak, he made it 100 times worse, and that's why we're here today.
Is it possible? And I think I asked TLA this as well. So let's say Judge Glanville realizes that he was wrong. Brian Steele is still standing at the podium. He's yelling. Brian Steele likes to yell. We need to make a compilation of Brian Steele yelling. That dude likes to yell. Oh, and I think a lot of times it's justified. So he's yelling, and Judge Glanville, and let's say by some fluke, Judge Glanville realized, you know what, I'm wrong. You know what, I was wrong. We did do this, and I was wrong for doing it. How could he have fixed it in real time on June 10th? Let's just say he realized, like, you know what, dang, yeah, you're right. I am wrong. I shouldn't have did that. I understand what you're saying, Steele. You're right. How could he have fixed it instead of doubling, tripling, quadrupling, throwing a man in jail? You had Gackle coming in. You had Pantene coming in and setting them straight. What could he have done differently right then, in your mind?
I mean, right then and there, he could have called a recess and spoke to the attorneys, and he could have cleaned it up. He could say, hey, we had a meeting, and I was going to tell you at the end of court. I didn't have time, but this essentially happened in the meeting. I'm giving y'all notice that it happened. And not only that, I'm going to go a step further. I'm going to release the transcripts so y'all can go home and review it. And if y'all have any objections, we can put it on the record and we can rectify it so it can be appealable for the appeals court. But he hid the thing is, when you can't be right when wrong got you. He hid the transcripts for weeks, and now people are thinking that he scrubbed the transcript. Right. And I was laughing when I was in the back waiting to come up when you said that you don't think they had him in the headlock. Nowadays, ain't no telling. Now I can't put none past him.
I can't put that past him. But I just want to say I don't want to assume he went Randy Savage on him, but he could have. He could have went Jimmy Superfly off the top rope.
I can see it. I can see him in the corner because he's not a big guy. He's a small guy.
Glanville?
Woody.
Woody's. Yeah, absolutely.
They got him in chains. He got chains around his waist, chains on his feet, and you got Miss Hilton yelling at him, "Hey, you're gonna go to jail indefinitely." And you got Glanville co-signing saying, "Yep, you're gonna go to jail." And she's saying, "Hey, you're not gonna see your dog have puppies. You're not gonna talk to your nephew. You're not going to go to your daughter's birthday." I mean, she was doing a lot.
The most,
the absolute most to get them in to testify. And at that point, okay, you have armed security on the outside. So I can really see Woody being essentially intimidated, even if he had Miss Kayla Bumpus, his substitute attorney, in the room.
How difficult is it to get a transcript? Like this happened on the 10th. And let's say that everything hit the fan, let's just say technically the 11th. and we didn't get the transcript until yesterday. Is it really that hard to get the transcript?
No, I don't believe so. I believe that Miss Christina Weaver, she on her job.
Oh yeah, she seems stout.
Yeah, she's on it. And also, I noticed that sometimes the state will go and pull recorded statements on the transcript when they refer back. They say, "Hey, we got the transcript. This transcript said this,
yes,
said that."
absolutely.
We're going through the videos, going through the jail calls. They referring back to the transcript, and I'm thinking they got them transcripts from Ms. Weaver. So if she was able to get y'all that, surely she was able to get something before that from June the 10th.
Yeah. I don't know, man. All right, this was a little bit off Atlanta, but did the Bill Cosby immunity case have issues like this? Do you know?
Well, I will say, I think the appellate court, kind of got it right, and I'm not endorsing anything Bill Cosby may have done, but if a prosecutor makes a deal with a defendant saying we will not prosecute you, there should be no circumstance a newly elected prosecutor can come 10 years later, 20 years later, and charge that same crime, because you essentially had a deal. That was like a plea deal. You made a promise. And, if you say, hey, that promise wasn't a good promise, well, they shouldn't have gave it, because the prosecutors represent the people. And if they made that promise, they thought it was good enough to make it, then they have to deal with it. Unfortunately, if the thing that, he's accused of is true.
I got you. Well, thank you, sir. Okay. Shawnee says, thank you so much, Deborah C., by the way. I got to make sure I shout out. Shawnee says, I get cleaning the streets up, but as a Southern girl, I've never heard of the KKK being prosecuted for RICO. That's more organized than the YSL gang trial, in my opinion. Now, that wasn't a question.
Right,
that is right on the money. That is right on the money.
And that's more so, I would think, I know back in the day, the feds were normally prosecuting those who were burning down churches and things of that nature.
Yeah, for sure.
So we got to remember, this is a state RICO. We have something similar in Texas called engaging in organized criminal activity. So it's not per se RICO, but it's similar. And I've had clients that were facing RICO, and RICO can be a whole slew of things. So it's not just what you think, murder and robbery and all of that stuff.
All right, so let me ask you this. Do you believe that, well, here in Georgia, we're literally running 2 RICO cases simultaneously out of the same DA's office. Right. And in my opinion, it is choking the system.
Right.
It is a beast. So I had the argument that RICO cases should, that was me playing, that was my sound effect. Okay. So I say that because I talk about Fonnie Willis so much, that anybody that supports me with a super chat is really supporting my RICO defense fund.
Come on.
I'm right down the street, man.
You right down the street?
I live nowhere. I was in Fulton County today.
What?
And her friend, Sonia Adams, is the DA here in Cobb County. I'm stuck. I'm pinned in. So I'm like, hey, look, y'all, help me out, help a brother out. So, okay, so here's my thought process, and tell me what you think.
Okay.
States should not charge RICOs. It should be like they should appeal to the feds. They should give all their evidence to the feds and let the feds do what the feds do, because it is a beast. I can only imagine if, I don't think Fonnie Willis and Fulton County are even trying to prosecute these cases the way that they could be done properly. Because, I mean, they got 18 people in the Trump interference case, and they got 6 here. At one point, they had as many as in the YSL, as many as 30. If all of the men had just one attorney and all came, you do realize there would be no room in the gallery for anybody else. Right. They couldn't even have the service dog in there, because there would be only attorneys and criminals at this point.
Hey, let Judge Glanville tell there's no room now. It was no room when Ashley Merchant came with her army.
Well, she came with her team. So
there's no room.
There's no room in the end, Ashley.
In the end, come on here.
There ain't no room in the end. So my thought process is RICO should be tried by the feds. Period. And what do you think about that?
I agree, because a lot of times local and state prosecutors try to use it as a catch-all, whether they can prove something against. Yeah, whether they try to prove something against one individual or multitude of individuals. It don't matter if you did it. If you hung out with them ever in your life, we're going to put your name on the indictment. We're going to throw you in the hat with them.
Right.
And obviously, there's a big problem because the states normally can't handle prosecutions of this nature. And I will go as far as to say we know Fonnie Willis has 2 big cases, and it can be arguably said that she's losing them both.
This is not going like people think it is. I'm sorry. Like we can argue and say, oh man, hey, she's bringing justice to bear. If that's what you want to believe. If that's what you want to believe, if she was bringing justice to bear, you don't hire your paramour as the face of it, and then have your paramour sitting on Comedy Central cracking jokes with Marlon Wayans. I'm just saying.
Right.
I'm just saying.
Right.
Like, these are some things that if you want me to take you seriously, these are not things that you do. These are not what you do. So
I agree.
And I've already said on the show, so I want to make sure it's said again. The Trump interference case is dead. It's a wrap. And this YSL case, again, I don't know if these men are criminals. I wasn't familiar with it. I'm not invested in it at all. All I'm saying is what I'm watching is not causing me to believe that the prosecution had a clean case. Right. Again, now, if you had a clean case, then run a clean game and just let the chips fall where they may. But you're doing so much dirty, underhanded shadiness that's really causing the overall perspective to say, maybe these guys are not guilty. Maybe, or maybe you can't prove that they're guilty, but you're doing these shady shenanigans in order to try to bring about a conviction because you can't prove it. And that's why you put them on RICO, why you won't let them sever, why you keep bringing up and abusing. I feel like it's an abuse of very uneducated, very, let's just say criminally minded black men. I mean, because you put that whole man's information on Flash. Woody, he's making a whole fool out of you. And sad to say, I mean, we literally saw somebody get deleted this past weekend that has been mentioned in your hearing. That should cause you to pause and think about what you're doing to these men. So that's just my little 2 cents. That's my soapbox. Do you want to add something else to that, Talk?
No, yeah. I mean, I agree, especially when you mention, Nathan Wade. He's going around, doing these interviews. And that last interview just really even took me aback. I was shocked. I was like, if you're doing all that, you might as well come over to YouTube and talk to us.
I didn't even review the video. Like, I saw the video when it was like literally an hour old. I said, I can't even talk about this. I'll mention it like it happened in bypass. I said, I'm not going to put a clip on there. I said, this was out of control. Right. And then for you to position yourself as being some upright standing person and your paramour is out here wilding out in these streets like that, I got nothing for you. So I don't think that case is going to last, but that's my little 2 cents.
Yeah, I don't think so neither. We got to remember, judges are politicians, and Trump may be the next president. And, that's a big incentive. I'm not saying that the Georgia appeals judges would consider that, but, if the case go to them and they have to decide whether she keeps the case or not, they kick her off the case, they may be looking at a federal appointment sometime in the near future, 2 years, 3 years. And they don't have to ever worry about an election again. So you got a lot of outside stuff you got to think about as well.
I agree with you. All right, so James says this. They told Lil Woody he did nothing wrong, but they locked him up. Then said he would only purge himself by testifying. I do think this is like a mixture of the I did the crime and I plead the fifth against the crime that I committed versus. But go ahead and what do you think about this?
Well, and I believe this is why Woody was so confused. It was so much going on in that transcript. He was getting confused about the words purge and impeachment. And then they start throwing in inconsistent statements. And I'm like, why are y'all using so big of words for him? He don't understand. And not only that, the judge and Ms. Hilton giving Woody legal advice when his lawyer should be the one giving him legal advice. And Ms. Hilton went as far as to say that she looked up the federal statute and the statute of limitations passed, so he can't even be prosecuted federally. And I'm like, okay, now if something's not right about that, later on, he gets prosecuted by the feds. Will that statement she told Woody be used as evidence in trial. But as far as the question that was just asked, Woody didn't understand. No, you good. Woody didn't understand. He didn't understand that he really wasn't in trouble per se. He didn't violate any laws. He's not going to have any background to charge from this. The only thing is he was compelled to testify. And since he refused to testify, he has to sit in jail until he decided to testify, and they call that purging.
I got you.
So that's pretty much what that was.
So, no, I agree with you. That makes sense. But let's say, for example, that Woody had done something. So Woody was with James throwing gerbils off the bridge. And he testifies, but he has immunity. He testifies that, yeah, I drove the getaway car. I drove the car to the pet store where James broke in and stole the gerbils, and we drove to the bridge, threw the gerbils off the bridge, and I drove the car off. Now, they might not use that testimony, but if they go back and look at the film from the pet store and see that they saw his car out there, because of what he said, they could still get him. Am I right?
Right, and that's what I think Woody was concerned with.
That's what I'm worried about.
Woody is like a street person.
He's a street lawyer.
Right. So he knows. He's like, okay, they saying they can't prosecute me, and a lot of times people don't understand what they gave Woody's called derivative use immunity, not complete immunity. That's two different things. That use immunity basically means anything you say on the stand we cannot use against you, versus full immunity, whether you say it on the stand or we find video later on, we can never prosecute you. But Woody only has the limited use immunity, anything he says on the stand. And Woody's concerned, and that's why he asked, he said, hey, what about murder?
Right.
I was talking about murder on the stand. He said that in the transcript. And they were like, well, if you didn't do it, we can't prosecute you for that. She didn't say we can't prosecute you forever because you have immunity. She basically said if you didn't do it, we can't prosecute you for that. But Woody's like, okay, well, the one way I know you can't prosecute me for that is to never give it to you. Never tell you about it.
Never tell you, right.
Right, and that's pretty much the deal going back to Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby was promised, hey, it's going to be sealed. Nobody would ever know. You can never be prosecuted for it. And guess what? He ended up getting prosecuted for it. He got
prosecuted for it.
So Woody's saying, I'm not going to even give it to you. And that way I know for a fact you can't prosecute me for it.
So could he have said, let's say Woody knew enough and he was given use immunity, but what's the other immunity? I apologize.
Full immunity.
Full immunity. Could he have negotiated for full immunity in that ex parte meeting? Say, hey, let's just say he knows enough, and he says, hey, right. I know y'all give me use, but I want full. Could he have done that?
Right. Yeah. In theory, he could have, but it's so much danger when you give someone full immunity, and prosecutors know this. And for example, anything he say on the stand can never be used against me. Even if you find it, you can find a tape with Woody's face committing the act. It would be gone for good. So Woody could start testifying that, hey, I killed 10 people. Then guess what? Those 10 people, he can never be prosecuted for. So prosecutors are real, concerned before they start handing out full immunity. And really? I think if he would have got full immunity, I mean, that would have been a good idea for him to confess to everything he ever did in life.
Everything.
Like he was talking to the man upstairs himself.
He'd be like, confessing. He calling folk like, hey, yo, what you want me to say? What you want me to say I did? Because I could see him really messing it up by saying like I'm the one that deleted Nut. I did it.
Right.
Well, what can you do?
And I found it interesting that, when they were questioning him or trying to convince him to testify, that was like the main concern. Like he specifically said, but what about murder?
What about murder? Right.
And I'm not saying he did it, but that's a concern that he's worried about being charged with it later on.
Or I'm just wondering, what if he said, you know what? Because I'm sorry, I do think Woody is far more intelligent than we're giving him. I think ADA Love and ADA Hilton would have served themselves much better to maybe take one less legal brief writing course and maybe one more street vernacular and hood sense course, because I think Woody played them.
Woody is smart.
Because think about it. The only reason you and I are probably talking at this moment is because Woody refused to behave properly on that stand. Now, granted, I do think that ADA Love and Hilton were being underhanded, being that they knew Melnick was not going to be there. And mind you, at one point, they were not going to have Woody testify because he was in shackles and a belly chain and jail clothes. They were not going to have him testify then, but they were okay with him saying, I'm going to get on the stand and lie. So they were too hungry. To me, I don't understand why. Sure, you have a batting order of witnesses, but you can move somebody around and say, hey, we need to pinch it, or we need to do something else because Melnick needs to be here to help be with Woody. But I think they were greedy. I think they knew that he was already going to be out of the office. This case went off the rails on June 10th, almost a month ago, because of their greed. And I'm sorry, them not giving Woody the proper respect. That dude knew exactly what he was doing. He's been in the system enough. I think he knows what purge means. He's been in the system enough. I do think he might know what inconsistent statements means. If you listen to him talk, he's not sure. He uses a lot of broken English. Sure, he's a product of Atlanta Public Schools. However, he's not unintelligent. He's a street lawyer.
I agree. I wouldn't be surprised if Woody came through clean on the other side when this is all said and done. You're right. I believe that the prosecutors, they, like the cards in a sense, lined up perfectly for them. Yes. And the reason I say that is because Melnick had to go out of town. That was the check. Woody's daughter's birthday was coming up. That was a check.
Double check. Yes.
Yeah, that was a double check. And I believe she also mentioned that his dog was getting ready to have puppies. He wanted to be there for that. He even said, how you know about my dog? And she was like, you told me. So everything was lined up so perfect for the prosecutors that it was enough that, hey, we keep him in jail over the weekend. That'll be enough to turn him. You don't even have Melnick there to gatekeep.
For sure.
He's been accused of gatekeeping, trying to get him not to testify. But Melnick's gone. I mean, this is like a perfect situation.
Storm, right?
Yeah, perfect storm for them to go in the back room and muddy the waters. I mean, I think they really overstepped and did something that they really didn't have to do. I mean, they could have had that conversation that they had in the back room. They could have had that out in the public, where in open court with the defense lawyers. They could say, hey, Woody, the same thing they told him in the back. If you don't cooperate, you're going to go back to the jail. You want to go to the jail cell, you want to go to your daughter's birthday. Make a decision.
Now, I don't know if that would have been considered coercion or threatening or whatever like that by saying you want to go in jail, you want to go to your daughter's. But it at least would have been out in the open versus being done now, us reading it, us hearing about it after the fact. And please keep in mind, Judge Glanville didn't come in and say, because it was an hour and a half, 2 hour delay. They didn't start till 11. And he didn't come in and say, by the way, we just had a ex parte, a little party none of y'all got invited to. It was really turned up. He didn't do that. That was more problems when Brian Steele actually heard about it and found out. Sky Knight said this. Let's see what he says. He says, how about congressional hearing witnesses invoking its Fifth Amendment? Could a committee give a witness an immunity for them to testify just like in a criminal case? How do you feel about that?
Well, I believe this is actually how it started, the whole immunity situation, because people were being compelled to testify in front of Congress back in the 1800s. And they're like, wait a minute, even though you're Congress and even though you may be a subcommittee of Congress, I'm still at risk of going to jail.
For sure.
And without use immunity or full immunity, and another term for full immunity can be called transactional immunity. It's just easier saying full immunity so people can, get it straight. Without those two things protecting someone, even testifying before Congress can get you locked up. That's why a lot of times it's easier if Congress subpoena you, show up and then exercise your right. But you can get in trouble if you don't show up. So if you don't show up at all, you can be held in contempt. But my thing is, people will say, I'm not going to go because I'm going to plead the fifth. Well, you still have to go. But once you're there, then plead the fifth. You're not in front of a jury. So pleading the fifth in the open is not going to, hurt anyone, if that makes sense.
No, that makes perfect sense. I appreciate it. Thank you. Let's see what Rhodes said. Rhodes says, if Judge Glanville is removed, does the case pick up exactly where it left off? Or does the new judge take some steps backwards or take a long recess to catch up on the case? All right, I've heard two different answers to this. I want to hear what you're going to be the tiebreaker.
I mean, this is really unknown territory because this case has been going on so long, and I don't even know if the jury at this point can even be rehabilitated I don't even know if a new judge can even be caught up to speed, because this case has been going on for, he's not going to know the backstory. Yeah, almost 2 years.
Right.
So I don't know if that's, it's feasible for a new judge to come in and bring the jury back in August and we can just act like nothing ever happened. At this point, too much has been said and done. But I will say I would prefer Glanville to stay, because I believe that the prosecution hasn't proved their case and they can win on a not guilty flat out and it's gone forever. But if a new judge come in and say, how can I do this, and it's a mistrial, the question is, will they have to start all the way over? And I'm sure Young Thug and his co-defendants don't want to sit in jail another 2 years for another trial.
All right. I want Glanville to leave.
Oh, you want him gone? Bye.
I want him gone because I don't think that it's... Well, let me tell you like this. There's no way this case is going to be any less than another 2 years. Easily. They are nowhere near the halfway point of those witnesses. So either they're at number 75 or they're at number 150, but they still got better than half left to go. That's 2 years. So let's just play for laughs and giggles. It takes $1 million per year to defend yourself in this case, which is, we already know that's not even enough. You're going to waste $2 million of this man's money in order to come to a not guilty, when you could have just said, this was rotten from June 10th. We're just going to go ahead and call it, throw it out. And either A, you're going to have to re-prosecute, or it's going to be thrown out with prejudice and it's a wrap. I don't think dragging this out anymore for these men is the right thing to do. That's my little 2 cents about it. Who has the finances to do this?
Right, and I was thinking about the commissioner's court, because the commissioners, for those who don't know, I'm sure it's the same way in Georgia like it is in Texas, the commissioners approve the budget. They give the money to the district attorney's office. So if the district attorney needs more prosecutors or more money to prosecute cases, Fonnie Willis has to go in front of the commissioner and say, hey, I know I messed up that case big time. I know I messed up the Trump case. I know I'm accused of getting kickbacks from Nathan Wade and hiding money in my mattress and cash, but could y'all give me some more? Could y'all give me some more money? And if I want a commissioner's court, if I see her coming through the door, I'll say, if you don't get out of here right now.
The Fulton County Commission will give her every dime she asks for.
She asked for.
Every dime that she asked for.
And then on top of that, what happened to the other money that was supposed to be for some youth programs, and the whistleblower got fired?
Do not get me started. Do not get me started.
Don't get you started.
I've said so. I wear a baseball cap because I wear, their tinfoil line. So every now and then I got a conspiracy. I got my tinfoil hat on. I do believe that this is a money laundering scheme. I do believe that this is a serious wealth transfer scheme. So if you just think about it, there are attorneys, there are people involved in this YSL case that are getting paid that would not be paid. They would not be getting this amount of money any other way. Does that make sense?
Okay, because, like which attorneys?
No, I'm saying like there's attorneys that are involved and clerks that are involved in the YSL case that would probably be doing something else.
Got you.
Right. Besides, if they weren't, sutured to these men, trying to keep these men out of jail. Well, there's a lot of money that's being spread around, and people are like, oh, well, we got to do this because we got to get this bad gang off the street. Here, take all the money that you need to get this horrible group of really bad people off the street. And I'm not blaming the attorneys, but there's tons of other scenarios around here where there's just a lot of money being thrown at a problem, and nobody's actually assessing whether or not the problem A, really exists, or B, is a problem that can be solved with money. And so when you look at Fonnie Willis and you just do any of the background with the Gang Prevention Center, if gangs are so bad in Fulton County, why is it that Fonnie Willis quashed the Gang Prevention Youth Center that was under Paul Howard? It was basically a little micro college that was going to be teaching like HVAC and welding and all these kind of dirty hands types of chores for black boys or girls or children in that area. Where it was located is rich with crime, gangs, prostitution, drugs. But remember, Fonnie Willis is about gang prevention. she quashed the gang prevention unit that was in the DA's office. That's what happened. That's what got Amanda Timpson all in the mix to start with. She was on the gang prevention unit and finally just came in and did away with it. So just wondering, where is all this money going? If you're not dealing with the gangs, you're not dealing with the backlog, you haven't fixed Fulton County Jail, there's a lot of problems that people are not, I think people should honestly step back and ask some more questions about.
You gotta laugh sometimes, just especially the people of Fulton County, because the bill is going to sit in their laps. Their property taxes are going to go up. They're say, "Oh, your house is worth such and such amount of money," even though that's not true. Right. If it's worth so much, you come buy it. It's not
right. Come on, you come buy it for that amount.
You come buy it for that amount. So they're going to go up on taxes, go up on the utilities, and it's not fair to the people of Fulton County. But the people of Fulton County got to understand that I know she might be. Somebody said black girl magic, she young, and they said she got it going on. But at the end of the day, if she's costing y'all money, she's not doing what she said she was going to do to get while she got into office. You gotta let her go. You gotta let her. I like my money.
Right.
Rather than you walking around on TV trying to prosecute these big cases, and I don't know for what. So now we have a situation where even the lawyers, matter of fact, I think Trump's lawyers or Trump's co-defendants lawyers are saying that she's only prosecuting the Trump case to make more money, even though her salary is capped, so to speak. If all the money, let's say Nathan get $1 million or $2 million,
sound like money laundering, don't it?
Right.
It sounds like money laundering, don't it?
Right. and he know, hey, we're gonna go on some vacation. I'm gonna slip you some cash under that mattress. Nobody gonna know.
Yeah.
Right. We're going to be dragging this Trump case out for a long time. So I can see that both of these cases are being, drugged out for the purposes of a profit, financial gain. We might as well tell it.
No, I agree 100%. Here, we're going to speed run through these. You got some really good questions coming in, and I appreciate you. By the way, if you just stopped by, we have, of course, I'm Jason, dear woke Christian, but we also have Talk That Law here tonight, and I appreciate the moderators dropping Talk That Law's YouTube channel in the chat. Let him know that you appreciate him stopping by to share his insight and wisdom. He says he's a young attorney, but I don't think so. This guy, he's been watching, he might have went back and watched some Matlock or something, because he knows what he's talking about. So let's go real quick.
A little bit.
He might have watched all seasons of Law and Order Criminal Intent, okay? Any idea why Judge Glanville did not reverse Steele's contempt when he sent the recusal motions to another judge?
I mean, at this point, it's kind of mute or moot, so to speak, because the Supreme Court already gave Steele a bond. So it's no really real reason to address it. And I'll say this, I did this example the last time I was on live, that let's say a woman is, she's pregnant and she wants an abortion, and a year or two pass and she already has a baby. Then if she sues the state for an abortion when she's first pregnant and a year or two pass and the baby's already here, then it's moot. It's over with. I mean, you can't go back and undo it. So that's something like Brian Steele. The Supreme Court already said he got a bond. He's not going to jail. So there's no reason to go in and say, okay, I'm going to undo your contempt. It's not like he has a criminal charge on his record. So, I mean, there's nothing to really undo.
I got you. Have you ever been held in contempt?
Not yet. but if a judge, does something of this nature, then I will be compelled to stand up for my client. And if that means that I got to go into custody, then that's what I have to do. But I will protect my client's rights.
I got you. Are you going to ask to be put in the same jail cell with your client so y'all can work?
Come on.
I mean, that was kind of serious. I was like, man, that was wild.
Well, I like my clients, so I guess I can say that. Yeah, I like my clients, but I've never. We didn't have testy situation with judges where we may go back and forth, but we're going back and forth on the law. We're not going back and forth because the judge was having a secret meeting in the back room with the prosecutors with the lights off.
The lights off, man.
Come on. I'm gonna tell it.
How do they pick star witnesses? Because Shawnee says, I'm trying to figure out why Woody was the star witness to begin with.
You and me both. And supposedly Ms. Hilton is a trial professor at a college. She law students how to, pick witnesses and prepare for trial and to conduct themselves during trial. So I'm trying to figure out what she's teaching that.
But watch this. ADA Love is supposed to be a maverick with difficult witnesses. I'm sorry, y'all.
That's what they said. That's what they said.
Yeah, that's like, how do you pick a star witness, and how do you designate a star witness? Like, how does that happen?
Well, I really do believe, I will say this, it kind of appears to me that Woody may have been playing ball with the prosecutors at first. Ms. Hilton even said that in the transcripts. He was cooperating, everything was good. And to me, I was like, yeah, he was cooperating. He don't want to be sitting at the table as a co-defendant with the other people that's on trial. So he gave them just enough, like, yeah, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And it's one thing to confess in a police booth or a police interrogation room or in a car. I think they said they had him in a car talking to him. So it's one thing, but when you come to court, you're on live TV, you have to actually look at the people, you're telling on. It's a whole different ball game. And I think either he got cold feet or this was his plan the entire time to sink the state's case. And so far it's working. He's out and about, he's shopping, he's swimming in the pool. And
riding his ATV down the street.
ATV in the state is at home looking crazy like, oh my God, what did we do? We got played.
You and I are prosecutors.
Okay.
And we have my brother James. He's a difficult. We think he's going to be our star witness. He gets up there and he starts nutting up. He is out in left pocket. Can we just say, hey, by the way, can we call an audible right there and say we're not going to use this witness, or are we stuck?
Well, it's the state's case. It's their case in chief. So they can't control the order of how they want to call their witnesses, what witnesses they want to call at all. The only thing is they have to give a list of all the witnesses to the defense counsel. So you can't add on witnesses later on, but if you have witnesses already in the list and you're like, you know what, they're not going to help, you can cross them out. That's perfectly fine. And as lawyers, sometimes we have to pivot on the go because we don't know what might happen in trial. I've seen some crazy stuff happen. You weren't anticipating, you weren't expecting it. You have to be a quick thinker. You got to think on your feet and try to save it, because that jury, they see everything. They can't talk. You got to remember, they can't talk. So the only thing they can do is look and listen. And they say when you can't use one of your senses, your other senses increase. So they looking and they booking. So I think they should have crossed Woody out. I mean, once they figured out he wasn't going to cooperate. One thing I noticed about Ms. Hilton, I'm going to say this real quick. She asked Woody when he came on Friday, how old are you? She already knew he was upset with it. He was like, I'm grown. She knew that was a trigger for him. So Monday, she in the back room, she's begging. She's literally begging him to testify. Hey, go see your daughter. All we need for you to testify, get out of jail. As soon as she come out in the public, when the cameras turn back on, she's back aggressive with him. Like basically, so like I said, how old are you? She went right back to that.
She went to, are you going to answer my questions?
Right. She was antagonizing. Like, if you want him to cooperate with you, you're doing a terrible job by making him upset. If he say, you ask him his age, he say, I'm grown. She could have said, is your age 32? Is that correct? Or something like that, however old he is. And just kept going. But
what was the purpose of that question? I think everybody was scratching their head. Like, first of all, it was comical that he pushed back and said, I plead the fifth. But why were you even, I didn't get what was the purpose of asking that question. I understand some other ones now, like to establish a basis. And, have you ever talked to TalkThatLaw have you ever watched this channel? Have you ever talked to him on the phone? You ever emailed? I got that part. But why do we need to know how old you are?
I don't think it was relevant, and I think she was really she was the second time she was doing it to prove a point. Like, hey, you went to jail over the weekend and you're back, and I'm still going to ask you, like I said again, how old are you? And from then it just went downhill, and I think it's her own fault. Like, why are you trying to make him mad or tee him off, the person that you need to really help you in your case? Because he's, in fact, like you said, the star witness, so treat him like a star. Treat him like a star. Don't agitate him. And I hope when Brian Steele and the other attorneys cross-examine him, they don't have to go in hard on him. He's already on your side. You can just clarify a few questions. Isn't it true on the transcript you said, I did these crimes? Woody, isn't that true? Woody can say yes, keep it smooth, cordial, get out.
I'm gonna tell you though, I know it because everybody, trust me, that will be some must-see TV. That will break the internet. Brian Steele and Woody will break it. I hate to tell y'all this, but it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen.
So neither.
I don't think it's gonna happen. So. I mean, because Brian Steele is gonna treat him with such kid gloves. He's going to be on it, and it's gonna be on and popping.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think, and I remember that Woody even, it was stated that he was trying to talk to the defense attorneys at one point in time, but the prosecutors would not let him get to them. So it seems as if he's comfortable enough with them. The only thing I'm worried about is the intimidation. We know it's supposedly a big guy. They said it was a big guy that was watching through the door when Woody was testifying. Yep. I don't know if there was another attempt by the prosecution to intimidate him, but we do know that that's the case. And Woody's right now with his Instagram posts, he's leaning It's like he's leaning towards the defense side heavy. Like, hey, prosecutors, I'm ready to go back to jail. I'm going to tell what y'all be doing to me. So I'm thinking he's ready to play ball with the defense whenever it's their time. But like you said, the case might be over. We may not come back.
Oh no, I don't think they're coming back. And hear me, I'm not saying that they're not coming back because I want criminals to get off. I want guilty people to go to jail. Okay. However, I want you to prove properly that they are guilty, because no matter what you think, at this point, Young Thug, and unless they've been guilty of something else, they are innocent. And I don't feel like it's the right thing just because I might think that they're guilty. I might think they're as guilty as today is Wednesday. That's not reason to put somebody in jail, lock them up, throw away the key. So that being the case, they have to prove it. But then the second problem is it took them a year to find 18 jurors. They're going to be losing. Am I supposed to believe that none of those 18 know what's going on? So they're not going to cookouts. They're not going to church. They're not going to the grocery store. They're not just surfing the internet. So none of them are doom scrolling. They don't even watch the internet. Is that what you want me to believe? Because I'm sorry, I can't suspend reality to that level. The jury has already been compromised. So if something happens to Glanville, let's say they say, you know what, Glanville, go on and go to Hawaii. You got your golden parachute. Go on and get up out of here. We got somebody else. So then they got Judge Butterbean in there next week, and they bring the jury in. Is the jury supposed to pretend like that's Judge Glanville? Are they not supposed to be like, wait, that's a new guy. What happened? So come on. The jury is compromised. There's no way you're going to get a clean trial. They know what happened to Tay last week and got deleted. They've been watching Woody on Instagram and Twitter and all over the internet, particularly on my channel. By the way, check it out. But he's all over the place. They already know, like, hey, that's a guy. They watched Bean testify again and again, dang near crying because the prosecution put his information out before everybody. They watched that. They've seen the shenanigans. I'm sorry, this case is a wrap. There's no way. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. If this case goes on if this case picks back up, Talk That Law, I will bring you on and I'll DoorDash you a steak dinner. Okay, on screen. I'll DoorDash you a steak dinner. But guess what? It's not gonna happen.
It's not gonna happen. I mean, and right now we have a judge that got the case in her hands, another judge in the same courthouse. She's going to decide if the case should remain with Glenville or go to another judge. It won't go with her. Once she make her ruling, it'll go back to the wheel, and then it's randomly another random selection. But right now, Weinstein is saying that he don't even want her, the new judge, I believe her name is Rachel Cross. He don't want her or any other judge in the building to hear the motion.
Yeah, because keep in mind, Glanville is the Chief Justice. So, I mean, he's the top dog of the building. So you're gonna get some underlings to discipline the top dog. And by the way, that means I might still have to work with him. I'm still gonna see him in the cafeteria. What happens if I walk out to the parking lot and he walking out there too? He might sick his service dog on me or something. I don't know.
Come on, coming out the service dog.
He got the service dog on me, man.
He might sick Jack on him.
He might put Jack on me, man. I don't need Jack on my back, man.
You don't need Jack.
They said
it was one lady, Belinda, I believe her name Belinda Edwards.
Yep.
She said, "Oh no," to the no. She said, I know better. Now Rachel over here thinking that, I'm gonna make a name for myself. Rachel, you better go on. You better leave it alone. You better leave it alone.
Leave it alone. I'm trying to tell you.
One thing we know about Glennville, he is vindictive. He won't pay back. It may not be now. It may not be tomorrow, but he gonna get you. Hey, I'll sign it to somebody else.
Right. Real quick, shout out to Kat, not Williams.
Oh, hey.
What's going on? She and I did the reading on Monday of the ex parte transcript. Fantastic content creator. I think the moderator's already dropped her channel in the chat. But if you're not already a member and subscriber to Kat Not Williams, what's wrong with you? Go on and do that, man. Go on and make that happen. All right, we got to get some of these questions done, talk that long, so we're not here all night.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
All right, so here goes. Woody is a pretty smart dude. This is actually a statement. If you listen to him talk outside of that courtroom, he's not an idiot. He just knows how to play the system very, very well. I have to admit, I think initially I kind of had a wrong perspective of him, but I think I agree with K. Pick. Listening to him talk, I'm like, yeah, he played y'all. He played you hard. Right. All right, here's another one. If Woody had gotten full immunity, would that protect him from the feds? I think you kind of addressed this, but if the state gave him full immunity, unfettered immunity, would that protect him from the feds?
And I would say this is a tricky part because we got to remember that in the transcripts, and I'm sure I tuned in when you were reading with Miss Caddy. Y'all did a good job.
Well,
y'all had the voices, y'all had the parts, the women and the men. I said, go ahead now.
We were trying, man. We're trying to keep it fun.
Right. It worked out good because I didn't have to go through it all myself. So I got to watch y'all, and I said, okay. From my understanding, it's not necessarily the state can give immunity for the federal government because it's two separate sovereigns. Yeah. And I will say not only that, Ms. Hilton recognized that because if she thought that Woody had full immunity, she wouldn't have been at home as she said she was researching the statute of limitations for federal crimes. She said, hey, I looked up the federal statute and it's 5 years, so you don't have to worry about the federal government coming after you because the statute of limitations. She didn't say don't worry about the federal government at all because you have immunity. So I believe she knows, like some of us know, that he could still be on the hook for federal crimes and maybe even some state crimes if it's not derived from his testimony while he's on the stand.
Yes. No, I agree. Great question, man. I mean, great point. Thank you so much. All right. So, question: can citizens make complaints against the judge?
Yes, you can, but you would have to have some type of nexus to the case, especially here in Texas. You just can't say I'm watching on TV and I don't like what the judge is, is doing. Okay. Now, if you're involved and you have a personal stake, I was in the courtroom, the judge was, rude to me, he didn't follow the law, then your complaint will be taken, more serious. But, if the bar get a complaint and you say, I was on TV, I'm on Law and Crime, I'm on Fox, I'm on Dear World Christian, I'm on TalkThatLaw, and I don't like the judge, more than likely that complaint is going to make its way into the nearest trash can.
What if it was a well-written out complaint and well thought out and complaint? Could somebody do that against Glanville, or is it only against attorneys?
Well, I'm not sure the process in Georgia, but I know in Texas, one of the questions they ask, how are you involved with this case? And if you're not closely connected with the case by some degree, then chances are the case, the complaint will be dismissed outright before the lawyer even has, to respond. Also, you can get a reprimand. Sometimes it may be public or it might be private. So if a lawyer gets in trouble and they get a private reprimand, you would never know about it. And that's here in Texas. I'm not sure in Georgia. But if it's a public reprimand, then that means I want people to know. The Supreme Court is saying I want the public to know. So if somebody type your name in when they're getting ready to hire you, they're going to see that from 1999. He wasn't doing what he's supposed to. He was taking clients' money. He wasn't doing the work. I'm putting y'all on notice. So, it just depends on what type of reprimand they give you. Yeah, thank you so much for those kind words. And I was watching Kat and I Williams earlier today when she was live, and I also saw that they were being kind towards her channel as well. And she also shouted out TalkThatLaw speaking to Kayla Bumpus. So
there you go.
I do thank you for that, Miss Kat and I Williams.
And I want to say, I think the good thing that's come from these very weird cases is that it's brought a lot of people into what's called LawTube, if you will, and given a lot of people an opportunity, because not everybody on YouTube is all cantankerous and such like that, but it gives us an opportunity to meet new people like yourself. This is my first time getting an opportunity to meet you, and I'm very glad that we've met. So I think these guys are, these are one of the good things that have come from these cases, the interference case, the New York case, and even the YSL case. So not all things are bad over there. And guess what? Shawnee Daniel wants to know, is it not safe to assume that being held for hours by the police could cause a person to make up a story It was a case in the Central Park situation.
And I mean, that could be, debated. That, I think that's one of the arguments that Woody was forced into testifying by his detention in jail over the weekend, his subsequent meeting in the judge's chambers when he was maybe in a headlock, maybe not.
I think it's possible, man. It's possible.
Had him jacked up in the room, security guard, the big security guards, they were watching at the door. They all in there, the investigators, DA Love, DA Hilton. That's a lot of pressure. So, all of that combined, is that enough to make Woody, testify to just say anything? I think he even said that, I'm going to just say anything just to get through with these questions. It may not even be true. I'm just going to tell you what you want to hear, essentially. That's what Woody told D.A. Hilton.
But he also said that about his interrogation. He said, I was just saying anything. So, and remember, some of those interrogations were multiple hours. I think one of them was 9 hours. I think after 9 hours, I probably would confess to have done it.
Right,
they got me thinking I might have did it. What? Maybe I did it. You're right. I did it.
At this point, right?
Look, you're right. You know what? I was wondering where I was. I did it. So I did it. All right. The ADA is literally arguing and fight over the mic in front of the jury. Is this something that could influence the jury?
I believe so. I mean, it's not a good look. And like I said, juries, they actually want to like the lawyers. They want to like you. And if you're doing something that is not right or is perceived to be wrong,
yes,
you're fighting over the mic, then that's a strike against you. And any strike against you is a strike against the verdict that you're trying to get that same jury to return. So I think it's not a good look to be fighting over anything in front of the jury. You handle that in the back room where y'all handle all your other stuff behind closed doors.
Right. Y'all need to have that one ex parte.
Come on now.
But don't do it in public. I agree. Like, why are y'all arguing in public? What is it?
Over the mic. But hey, do you know why? And you're not required. Do you know why ADA Love seemed to been absent from the rest of the Woody conversation? Well, I can't say with 100% certainty, but I think DA Love, she's a smart woman, and I think she see the handwriting on the wall. She's in the ship and it's filling up with water, and she sees it's going down. So she jumping ship before it hit the fan. I think she easing her way out a little by little. She's easing out, and she leaving Miss Hilton there to hold her back because she see this trial it turned into a dumpster fire.
I got you. But guess what? I think now we might actually be real.
Let's see what we got.
Let's try. Wait, did I have it right? Is that Kayla Bumpus? Is that Kayla? How are you? Uh-oh.
Come on here. Oh, did we lose her?
She muted herself. Uh-oh.
Oh, she might get it.
She said, look, I got to work on my framing. I got to get my frame right. But
Hey, when I was trying to come up here, it took me a while.
look at that. Oh, I twisted the camera the wrong way. What is going on, young lady? How are you doing? Welcome.
Thank you. How you doing?
Quite well, thank you, Kayla, for stopping by tonight. I appreciate you. All right, so we've been over here just talking shop, not talking about anything bad, and
Right.
but no,
I'm following Kat.
Say again.
Wherever she goes, I go.
Oh, well then there we go. We got the right one. Kat was in the chat. I love it. Okay, so thank you, Kayla Bumpus. If you don't mind, if you want to introduce yourself and let everybody know, you can change your name to Kayla, not the mole, so they'll know that.
Come on.
I don't even know how to change my name on here.
At this point in the game, they got us all thinking we're the moles. I mean, Woody got me thinking I'm the one. So anyway, okay, real quick, introduce yourself just in case people don't know who you are.
Hi, y'all. I'm Kayla Bumpus. I'm an Atlanta attorney, and I'm here.
Well, we are glad that. Are you here in Atlanta? Or you're dual citizen, so you're in Atlanta, and then you're in the great state of Texas sometimes.
Yeah, I'm in Houston right now.
I got you. Okay. Okay. We're just answering questions. So the chat has been throwing questions out. But as it relates to this trial and where it is at the current moment, what is your wet finger in the air? What is your kind of opinion on where the trial is and where it is going to? Is it going to continue down the tracks to a jury making a decision, or do you feel it's gone off the rails?
I have no idea. I mean, this is unprecedented.
It is.
I mean, I have no idea. I guess I'll be in a better position to answer that question when we see if Judge Cross is going to be able to hear the recusal motion, or if that's going to have to go to another judge. Then I feel like I may have a better feel, but I have no idea.
Yeah, it is hard to figure this one out because, as most people have said, this is uncharted territory. Nobody's been anywhere near this before. Have you ever had a witness that has been as difficult as Woody? Because I feel like the overall consensus is Woody pretty much cratered this entire case, almost single-handedly. Now, whether or not it was because ADA Love and Hilton should have probably waited until Melnick came in to do this kind of thing. They should have probably just had another witness or did something different. Or Woody just had in his mind that he was going to just ruin this thing. Have you ever had a witness that was this? I hate to say, like literally the entire case pivoted on Woody, and he totally had his way with him.
I've never seen anything like this in my legal career.
You've been practicing how long?
I'm going into my 8th year.
Wonderful. TalkThatLaw, by the way, y'all met before. Wait, yes, absolutely. What am I talking about?
How you doing?
Hey, good. How about yourself?
I'm doing good.
All right.
I want to ask you real quick before I forget. Your Cash App is the same one. We've been sending some your way a couple of different times. Okay. So it's okay. I'm just making sure it's not going to some wrong person.
No, you gotta text me because we got a link.
Okay, I got you. You coming to Texas, right?
She's in Texas.
I live in Houston.
Oh, okay. I got you. I will do.
I love it. Okay. So let me real quick. Here's a question, and either one of y'all could jump in. We've been just asking questions pertaining to around the case. So what's the point of prosecuting Trump? And by the way, Kayla, I live here in Atlanta as well. So that's why I've been talking so much about the Fulton case, the Trump interference case, all that kind of stuff, because I literally live down the street around the corner from all of these shenanigans. So so that's what makes it super interesting to me. So Shawnee says, what's the purpose of prosecuting Trump when he can still run for president and be out here free? I can't have missed the payment. Wait, sorry about that. I can't have missed the payment on a parking ticket and not fear arrest. So what's the purpose of that? Do you all feel like there's any real purpose for the interference case? Or are y'all with me that it's just a money transfer?
I plead the fifth.
Right.
I compel you to you got. I subpoena you here. I'm giving you I don't know. I got to find something to subpoena you with there. I'm subpoenaing you. You must testify. No.
You got to give me immunity.
I give you wait, what is it? Full immunity. I'm giving him full immunity tonight. There you go. You have full immunity. What do you think? What you got, TT?
And I mean, I will say that the Constitution sets forth the standards for president qualifications. You got to be 35. You got to be a natural born citizen. It doesn't say anywhere that you cannot be convicted of a crime. So in theory, even though you may have a parking ticket, you can run for president if you meet those other qualifications.
I got you. Okay. Well, I'm with you. Real quick. If Miss Bumpus wasn't the mole, I'm wondering if it was the clerk, transcriptionist, that gave up the information. What do you think? And, well, we know it wasn't Miss Bumpus because we have Kayla, not the mole Bumpus here. Is that something you want to talk about, or are you able to discuss, or is that kind of like water under...
I think it's a twofold question for sure, and I will definitely talk about it Friday on my YouTube channel.
I love it. Okay.
Come on here.
Oh, wait. Oh,
come on.
Wait. Break that down. So your YouTube channel.
So I'm going live on Friday.
Where can we?
As long as I can.
Okay. Can we make sure that? Can the moderators please make sure? What's the name of your channel? Can the moderators look that up for us, please, and drop it in the chat?
It's my name. So.
Oh. That's pretty straightforward then. That would be pretty easy. The moderators will make sure we drop that in there. We will be there. Any particular time that you're going live?
Yeah, 6 p.m. Central Time.
All right. It's a real deal. 6 p.m. Central Time. Oh, 7 o'clock here. Okay, gotcha. It's a real deal. I love it. All right. This is something I think that we have to consider. And another reason, Kayla, by the way, I have said that I feel like this case is not going to go any further. It's done. And I've given my reasons why. You don't have to agree with them. But I think this is a point that I think everybody's kind of agreed with. And this is from We Watch YouTube. They've lost the public confidence. I don't think that anybody is confident that ADA Love and the prosecution really want the right things for these young men and that community, when it just doesn't come across like that. Do you agree with that, or do either of you want to chime in on like the public perception of these large RICO cases and what ends up happening with them?
I mean, like, even though this is a large RICO case, this isn't the first time like this has happened.
Right.
So I just think that, I mean, like you said, it's uncharted territory. I would like to believe that if a judge does recuse, I mean, because we know Georgia law would allow the trial to continue, even if there was another judge that is then assigned to the case, that it could continue, but
it could, right?
In my opinion, I don't know how that is fair, because this is not the first recusal motion that's been filed. And so at what point do we determine when that recusal was appropriate and what has happened in the interim? So I just don't see, but I never would have imagined being handed a show cause order in open court.
Wow. No, I agree. You got anything to add to that? TalkThatLaw?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's unheard of that he was trying to seek retribution for something that he created. He could have fixed this at the onset, but no, he wanted to not only punish Brian Steele, anybody that was in his path while he was on his rampage. He was going to take it out on him. And we saw that she was trying to get off the case, and he wouldn't even let her go. Like, dude, let this woman go. She was only there. She did her job. Woody's on the stand. So y'all be looking for that. And then you still want to have a show cause hearing, and then you reschedule it. So she had to go all the way back, I'm assuming, to Atlanta, get another plane ticket. So he's playing his game. And truth be told, he really still haven't quashed it, right? He just saying that it's suspended. There's no order. He just said it's suspended indefinitely. What does that even mean? All you have to do is sign up.
And he has no interest in pursuing it. I don't know what that means.
Right.
for us pre-K law students, can you explain what show cause hearing actually is? Because I think I understand it, but I don't want to assume that everybody understands it. Do either of you want to explain? Because you both seem like you have some feelings about it, and but like, what is a show cause hearing?
You want me to go first?
Yeah, if you don't mind, Kayla.
Well, usually, a show cause hearing, you would know what the contemptuous behavior was, and then you would, at that hearing, be able to, well, the burden is on the court to prove why you should be held in contempt.
Gotcha.
But
okay.
In this case, it was a little different because the verbiage specifically stated why I should not be held in contempt, or, why we should not. So it was kind of like me going to disprove something. And also there was no contemptuous behavior that was actually put in the order. So I don't know exactly what I was going to go and show cause for.
Well, if it helps you at all, the chat is giving you immunity, so you're good to go. The chat is giving you immunity. We do that over here. We put you in 0-second timeout. We just giving full immunity. Intergalactic immunity. That way, just in case this thing goes way out of rails, you got intergalactic immunity. You good to go.
Okay,
no, that's crazy though. Yeah. Did you want to add anything else? Talk that?
No. I think she explained it perfectly. I mean, as far as the show cause, the judge pretty much saying why a certain action should or should not be taken against you. And I mean, what's she gonna say?
Wow.
I mean, I don't even know what you were prepared to do. I know you had lawyers. So I'm going to get into that because, like you said, it's still not even gone away 100%, which is crazy. I don't think he's going to do nothing now. I mean, I don't think he's going to stay on the case. But for him to say show up and he keeps switching the dates, it's almost as if he may even know you're in Texas. He maybe knows.
Right.
He may know.
He definitely knows.
He knows.
Yeah, he definitely knows. And I'm going to talk about that on Friday too.
Okay, come on.
Oh no!
I'm gonna beat it.
Not a silent plug. Not a silent plug for. Okay, so as Kat said, it was gonna be a party in Kayla's live chat on Friday. Just don't break the internet if you don't mind. Please don't just break the internet because some people still got to do some work. But you're welcome to stranglehold the internet, but just don't break it. Okay, in the live chat, that's gonna be funny.
Somebody had asked, is that the complete transcript? Are we missing something?
Oh, yeah. I was going to bring that up.
Go ahead, sir.
Yep.
Go subscribe.
You said subscribe. We're going to find that Friday. We got our way.
No, not those cliffhangers. No, we not. She already know how to add value in the internet. In these YouTube streets. She's like, subscribe. Well, make sure. I think I see the moderators did, in fact, drop your link in there. Yes, thank y'all so much, moderators. Please make sure I subscribe too, because I don't want to miss it my own self.
Right.
But
all right.
She said, okay, all right. Because my brother was on earlier. And he's surmising that it is redacted. There is information that is missing. I disagree with my brother, but I am going to ask you, what would be the benefit of doing that? Let's just say that there was something, and I gave the example that he put Woody in a headlock and said, "You're going to testify, boy," and then threw him against the wall and gave him an elbow. That would be pretty bad, but the information that they gave us was extremely bad. So why hypothesize about possibly they redacted something when there's a lot of bad stuff that's already in there? But am I missing it? Am I making it too simple? What do you think, Kayla?
I mean, I understand. And it's really sad that people would feel that way, because you should be able to trust a judge. Like, there are some judges, they say whatever they say, I believe. And it's because they have instilled a level of trust in me. They know the law. Mm-hmm. They take pride in knowing the law. They take pride in staying on top of the law. And they're honest and they're fair. And there are certain judges, there are some judges that are mean. I'm scared to go in their courtroom. I'm gonna wear this suit to this judge's courtroom and wear these shoes and this and this. But at the end of the day, it's out of respect, and I know everything is out of love, and it's out of a love for the law and the bar and justice. And I can appreciate that. So it says a lot when people think that the court would do that.
Yes.
That's why I leave it at that. That says a lot.
I agree. And either one of y'all, feel free. If it's a mistrial, I think I know the answer to this one. Because of the secret squirrel meeting, the ex parte meeting, isn't jeopardy already attached?
I think that there have been some motions filed by members of the defense that attack other issues that specifically are related to jeopardy. So
Okay.
even if that was the case, there have been several motions filed that address that.
I got you. Anything else you want to add to that? Talk that?
Yeah, I agree. And if it's shown that the prosecutors did something inappropriate, which could be said if they called the meeting knowing that what they intended to do, then I don't think they should get a second bite at the apple to be able to retry this case again. I mean, that's not fair for the defendants that's been in custody for over 2 years, 26 months sitting in prison, time they'll never get back, and they haven't even been convicted of a crime.
And the money,
Right.
they'll never be able, I mean, I don't know how they're funding this. Like, I can't imagine.
And the jurors' time. The jurors'
jury
time. It's
time,
like,
right.
what?
Like, is it, and like I said, like, am I supposed to believe that the jury is not going to church and cookouts and the grocery store and doom scrolling on their phone and they don't see this? Am I supposed to believe that?
You have to have thrown their phones like in a river. I don't know, because how could you not? I mean, the internet is like full of Woody. That's every time I open my anything, it's him.
Right. Like, and I mean, if you go to his Instagram, he out here riding an ATV down Metropolitan Parkway. I mean, yeah, I mean, this is a real thing. Like, how are they supposed to remain, what do they call it?
Impartial, neutral,
Impartial to this when they're seeing
uninformed.
it. I can't believe that they're not. When you hear Glanville give his recitation at the end of court, you know, explaining how the jurors are supposed to act moving forward. But
And I had like several people on this case try to hire me. I told all of them no, because I love to travel. I have 2 kids, 2 dogs. I can't, and it's some of these people I've represented so many times, and I had to tell them, no, there's not enough money in the world to get me wrapped up in this, and then I got wrapped up in it for free.
that's for $3.99. She got wrapped in, and that was exactly what I was gonna say. Like, you got caught up in this just doing the right thing, like helping a colleague, Jonathan Melnick, just helping him out. And I've heard you say it on several channels. It just seemed like an easy walk in the park. Like, stand there, you do what you're supposed to do, sign this paper. I'm like, leave the plane running. Don't even stop. Don't even cut the plane off. I'll be right back. And then lo and behold, this happened. Like, what were you thinking when you realized that this thing was going way left? Like, what were you thinking?
I mean, I had literally lost my mind the night after. I mean, Monday night, like I say, when I was on my way to leave, I had lost my mind. And
I can imagine.
I had lost my mind to the point it's so bad. My mom lives here, all my family lives here, all my friends live here, and I went and I paid $2,000 to stay at the St. Regis, and somebody come give me a massage because I had lost it.
Wow.
But no, I can totally understand. I can only imagine. Like, cause
it was the only thing that calmed my nerves. Like, I was like, I'm just gonna stay at the nicest hotel. I'm gonna sleep in the bed. I'm gonna, like, just whatever I can do to gain some sense of sanity.
Yeah, I can imagine. So, all right, have you talked to Jonathan Melnick at all?
Of course.
Can I ask, like, what has been his response? Like, I did not expect this to happen. Or I know it sounds like you all are friends and peers and colleagues. So, like, what's been his response to the fact that you came to do a good deed and it went way left on his time off? Like, what's been his response?
He actually called me before he came back.
I love it.
and he was very remorseful. And like I said, Jonathan has been my friend for so long, and he has done so much for me. And I just told him everything happens for a reason. And I was supposed to be here and you weren't, for whatever reason that was. And I just have to accept that.
Every time I've heard you, Kayla, I feel like your response has been above board. You've been very kind, to your colleagues, even people that on prosecution. I've heard you say great things about Hilton. I've heard you say good things about everybody without coming across as being bitter or being catty or petty. Whatever you say when you cut the camera off or when you're at the Regis while they give you a massage, we'll let that slide. But at least every time I've seen you on the camera, you've been really above board. That comes across really well, I feel. Most people, I feel like I feel like a lot of people respect the way that you've handled it. You didn't sound mad at Melnick. You didn't sound mad at the prosecution. Even Glanville and all this stuff that's going on, I've heard you say very little that would sound like you were vindictive or angry about it. So I do want to say that does come across really well for you and speaks well about yourself and the type of person that you are. So I just want to give you kudos to that because I've noticed it, and I'm glad I get a chance to say that to you.
Thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you for all that you're doing and being a part of this. I do have this question though, because you're here in Georgia, and I think this is in Texas the same thing. We kind of talked about this. Somebody read, and I think I read this too, that Georgia RICO law is being looked at in regards of it being too broad and overused. I mean, anybody, have you heard about that, or do you feel like it is too broad or it is overused?
I mean, I just feel like no one can really say Georgia because all you see is Fulton County. And Fulton County is like, I have practiced a lot in Cobb. I'm moving away from Fulton. You can't pay me to go to Clayton or DeKalb. But
come on to Cobb. I live in Cobb County, so come on.
Yeah, I love Cobb. They're very, when I started practicing, it was the other way around. I loved Fulton. I was scared of Cobb. I loved DeKalb. I was always scared of Clayton. But it really has changed. Cobb is very progressive, and I don't have any RICOs in any other county but Fulton. I rarely have any gang counts anywhere but Fulton. When I was a prosecutor, I don't even remember seeing a RICO charge. And I was like on signs of first appearance for like 3 to 6 months. And I was under Mr. Howard. I never remember seeing a RICO. This is like new to me. I mean, APS was like the first RICO.
It was the very first one.
BMF was probably the first one, the first RICO.
What are y'all doing out there in Texas? Talk that law.
Oh yeah, so we do have a statute engaging in organized criminal activity. Sometimes I see prosecutors overuse it. They can't pinpoint a particular person, so they try to cast a wide net and try to group everyone in together. Maybe get one or two to talk, turn on the other. But in the end, they still would have to prove that each specific individual contributed to that RICO. So a lot of times it's hard. It may be a charge at first that sounds terrifying, but when you really get down to the meat of it, when you get down to the bottom of it, it's really not all what it seems. And we're actually seeing that in the YSL case. At first when it came out, oh my God, RICO, they finna go down. But now that you're really looking at it,
like,
the case
what is this?
It's not as strong, right? It's not as strong, nowhere near as strong as we thought it was. So of course the new people that we just seen in the other judge courtroom, of course they're not taking plea deals. They seen the weak spots in the case,
right?
So they think they have a chance to win.
And I've never been to law school. I'm a pre-K law student. I know nothing. Okay, nothing.
Don't go.
Do you think that this case is going to, will this case become like a case study or somehow or another even make it into law school so people to study and look at for its foibles as well as its successes? Do you think, is that how it works? How does it work?
It definitely will if there's a conviction, because
Okay.
it's going to be appealed, and there's going to be so many appealable issues. And I mean, it's definitely if there's a conviction.
What if it goes off? What if, as I'm saying, a test that is off the rail is never going to come back? Will they ever like do an autopsy on what happened, what went wrong with the RICO, the YSL case, and maybe Will they do that? Or is it only if he is successful and brought to a conviction or to a jury actually decides?
I don't really know right now. I mean, I think maybe there will be some opinions on judicial conduct.
Okay.
That may come out, but I can't really say. I don't know enough about the case. I just got here.
Now, you know what? I hate to say it, but that did actually slip my mind. You're right. I'm like, Kayla is not. She's not a day one. You're like day. What was it like? 81. Like you haven't been in this that long. You're right. I did kind of forget that.
And I have not been watching.
And what?
Oh,
you got other things to do besides watch this case?
Yeah, like actually go to court.
Oh, no. She said, like, I gotta actually go up in there. And
I mean, there have been days where, like, from the beginning that I would stop in and drop in. At first, we couldn't go in the actual courtroom. We had to watch it from a TV. And at the beginning, I was dropping in every so often. And then when they let people start coming in the actual courtroom, I dropped in a few times.
and I found it funny too that the judge, he tried to reprimand one of your attorneys. He's like, "Don't you have a conflict? Didn't you represent Sergio Kinches, and now you represent Kayla Bumpus?" And she was like, "What does one have to do with the other? It's completely different." And I was like, "If anybody has a conflict, judge, it's you. So why are you?"
I mean, if that's the case, then Gabe has a conflict because he was on YFN, and then I have a conflict because I've represented over half the defendants. So I mean, everybody has a conflict at that point. So like, just conflict them all off, and I mean.
And that's what your lawyer said. She said half the country is watching this case. Everybody got a conflict.
Everybody got a conflict. I got a conflict.
I got one too.
Everybody got a conflict. I mean, that's why I'm saying, like, I don't think they'll be able to find a new jury. So if they do go to a mistrial, I think they're going to just go ahead and attach double jeopardy because they're not going to be able to find another jury that's not somehow or another, as Kayla said, like when you open up your social media, it's all Woody. Like literally, yeah. I mean, it's everywhere. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that's. I mean, I think that's real. So this is another question right here. I think there was or comment rather. I think the state planned to put Woody on the stand, knowing his attorney would be on vacation. It sounds kind of like that. What do you think? Talk that law.
Oh, me. Oh,
Let's start with you.
You know what? I don't put nothing past the state. I will say in the transcript, I did see Miss Love. She was trying to, sort of take up for Kayla. But at the same time, she still wanted what she wanted, and she still needed Woody's testimony. But he said that he filed his vacation notice well ahead of time in 2023. So it's not
but
like
he didn't file it into the case.
Oh, he didn't file into the case. So you don't think they could have known or could have saw it? Was it public or just?
I'll talk about it on Friday.
Oh yeah, maybe
another subtle advertisement. Please make sure, and ladies and gentlemen, if you're jumping in, I appreciate y'all. We have Kayla Bumpus. The Kayla Bumpus. Her link is down in the chat. Please check out her channel. On Friday, she'll be doing a live stream. She's going to be talking about a lot of the things that we're asking her. She's leaving that stuff. She's trying to say, hey, make sure you go over there and like, share, and subscribe to her channel because she's going to be talking about she's going to give it all the tea. And the other gentleman sitting next to me, most of the tea. Some of it.
I've been so behind that I took a couple of days to catch up. So now I'm like, let me just get on people's lives tonight. I feel accomplished. Let me see what's up. And I'm tired of people just badgering my name. So I guess I'm gonna have to clear the air and speak up for myself.
Oh, let's go. And then she said, did you say on Friday you may talk about most of the things that's happening now, but he already dear old Christian, he already said that you've been nice so far. But can we give her a pass for Friday so she can light him up? Because I want to hear what she got to say about this judge.
And, he's probably the only person in my life that has ever said I'm nice. Everybody says I'm mean.
I'm sorry, real quick. Just real quick, Chief Executive Second Born wanted to come by and say hi.
Hello.
Goodbye, baby.
Hello.
Get out of here, you crazy bird. Get that out of here. Get out of here. I don't know why. I have no idea why we did that. The chat is saying that you're crazy. They think you're crazy, Taylor.
Kayla famous.
No, that's my Taylor. Kayla is famous, but this is Taylor, and she's crazy. What? I love you, baby. Oh my gosh. So anyway, she likes to check to see if the chat is going to say something about her stuffed animal.
Oh, was it a shark?
Somebody said hello, Taylor. Goodbye.
Okay, that's fine.
Goodbye. Goodbye. Get out of here. Anyway, no, I agree. So Friday we coming out the bag on. Okay. Well, just don't talk bad about his dog, okay? Don't be saying like I ain't even like his dog either. Just don't talk about the service dog. I want PETA after us, but that is hilarious. Right. Kayla, thank you so very much. We already know our assignment for Friday, 6 p.m. Central time. We already know where we're gonna be. As Kat said, it's gonna be a party in the live chat. We already know where we're supposed to be. We got our assignment, got our homework, and all that kind of stuff. Thank you so much for stopping by. I really do appreciate it. And
I've been meaning to stop by. I haven't been ignoring you. My life has been all over the place.
Look, you out here trying to fight the RICO like I am.
And then that's what I say. I keep telling my clients like I really have to look. I'm not nice. Do you know what's going on? Stop calling my phone.
I mean, really? Well, hey, we are looking forward to talking to you, or rather seeing you on Friday. We'll be there with bells on. So thank you so much for stopping by. We really appreciate it. You have a fantastic night.
Good night.
Good night now.
All right, good night, Kelly.
Good night.
Well, that was dope.
Yeah, that was really nice. Unexpected treat.
There we go, man. We out here hanging out. Causing trouble. We got Chief Executive Second Born. We got Kayla showing up. Man, it's all what's up. But real quick, just in case I have a lot of people have jumped in since we started. If you don't mind, just tell us a little bit about who you are, what you're about. I'm gonna give you a drum solo. So go ahead and tell us a little bit about who you are, what your channel's about, and of course what your actual expertise is. And I'll let you do that.
Okay, so I go by TalkThatLaw. Y'all can find me over on YouTube and some of the social media platforms such as Instagram and X, formerly known as Twitter. And I pretty much just talk about things that affect our daily lives, whether it's family law, civil law, criminal law, constitutional law. And we learn so much by living everyday life, so much in the YSL trial as far as what are your rights, what is immunity, what's your Fifth Amendment right, what's your Miranda warning, things like that. So I decided to join YouTube so I can reach the masses. I've been talking to my clients throughout the years, one person at a time, but I wanted to reach the masses, teach as many as I can, and I thought a platform like YouTube would do that, and it has been doing that. And people like Dear Christian was so kind to invite me on his channel, so I do want to thank him again. So y'all can find me there.
Well, thank you, man. I appreciate that. I just wanted to give you a chance to kind of tell everybody who you are, especially we have so many great new people have popped in since we started. So TalkThatLaw was very gracious to come on tonight to just kind of answer some questions that most of us have had about the trial, about the case, about what we've been seeing online and so forth. There have been some fantastic, excellent commentators on it. So I wanted to see if I could tap another expert to come in and do the same thing. Just kind of give us a little lay of the land, help us better understand what's been going on, and make sure what we're seeing, though we see it one way, but maybe it's not legally wrong, or it's wrong, but can you prove it? So I just wanted to do that. And before I get too far, thank you so much, Retired. Retired says 2 awesome guests, 1 awesome host, and a great conversation. And make sure y'all do what he said. He says hit that subscribe button and show some appreciation. I don't know if he meant to be a rapper, but MC Retired in the building. I like it. I appreciate it. I love it. Thank you so much, friend. Thank you so much for the very gracious super chat.
Well, I'm like Kayla. I'm actually a practicing attorney as well, so I have my own trials coming up, so I can't just dive too far into other trials. Right. Also, like the Ken Reed trial, that's something that I was intrigued about because they were saying that evidence was planted and
for sure
there was some cover-up going on, and now we got a hung jury on that. So I'm wondering if the prosecutors, will they retry her or not? Maybe I have time time to cover that. But so far, it's so much going on with the YSL trial. People have been sending me stuff like, hey, cover this, cover that. But the YSL trial is keeping our place full for right now. So, thank you your chat so much for
yes.
words. They've been supportive. I've been glancing over and reading, and y'all been so supportive. And I do want to thank y'all for that. And I see a few of my people that popped in, and you're almost at 20,000 subscribers. Come on, y'all!
I appreciate it, man.
20K.
we are trying our best over here. I got Tasha here. Who is this right here? Let's see what we got. So, real quick, Tasha, what is your opinion of the YSL trial up to this point?
I think the trial has been like a good learning experience. Okay. Like going into it, I felt like that, it could be a possibility that a lot of stuff that they are charging them with could be true. But the time limit of the charges, it's like ironic that you're charging somebody for things they've done 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And so, like, going into it, I was only watching it because I kept seeing it on TikTok, and I was like, oh, let me see what's going on. And starting to look at it, I used to be one of those people that used to, like, entrust in the police. Like, you'll see them, they'll come to the door, they'll ask you, hey, did you see this? And you'll be like, if you've seen it, you'll answer it. But I think now, just seeing the corruption, and I stay in Florida, so it's worse here.
Oh, my gosh, okay.
And just looking at it from that perspective, I have a black son. So I would hate that at any point in time that he would be into a situation where he would be sitting as a defendant and looking at this situation. I agree with Miss Lavonda. I don't think that her views are outlandish. Like, you want somebody who's responsible for a crime to be held, to a certain standard, but Absolutely. You don't want it to be done in a way that is manipulative. It is dirty. Like, it's disgusting, honestly, to sit in front of, like, the world and think that you can pull basically the wool over people's eyes and think that they're not paying attention. Before, people were not paying attention. I hope to God that the people in Fulton County are now paying attention to the elected officials. Even though Glanville wasn't elected, you see that people you put in power sometimes, you don't understand the power of what you can do with your voice or actually going out and voting and seeing what you can change. Because before, you guys were letting this be okay. Like, this was all right until you see it happening now on live TV. But imagine all the other guys that's been sitting in jail for a long period of time that this has happened to, that they didn't get a fair trial.
Right.
Those ex parte meetings that happened, they've been happening.
Let me ask y'all this, since you brought that up, and I wanted to actually ask this with Kayla, so now you're going to be our stand-in, Kayla. So we appreciate you, Tasha. But do y'all think that they've had other meetings like this, like the Woody one, with other witnesses during this trial particularly?
They were too comfortable.
They were real comfortable.
It's no way that you can think that he got up there and he gave him the opportunity. Like, looking back at it now, like going back and watching Day 88, they gave him the opportunity to say what happened. Like, I feel like they had some kind of substance as to what happened, and it could have been one of the security guards that told him, like, that it was a meeting. And they just bum rushed Kayla and was like, hey, like, what happened? And she told the substance of what happened. So now I can put my spin on it because I'm going to do it in favor of my client. So when I come up there, I'm going to say more because he did hint to a murder. He said, well, what's the statute of limitation of murder doesn't run out. Like, so I'm going to say, okay, well, I heard that he admitted that he killed Donovan Thomas. Mm-hmm. It draws controversy because the world is watching and now it's on the record.
Right. So you feel like that. How do you feel, Talk That?
I mean, I agree. It's a lot. I don't know how they insinuated. He asked about the statute of limitations for murder, but they kind of tied that into, Donovan Thomas' nut. And, when I first read the transcript, I was expecting to actually see him admit that he did that act. But it seemed like maybe, somebody, drew an inference. They
That's what I
speculated. And as a classroom teacher, I don't know what that game is called. You tell one person something in one side of the room, and by the time it makes to the other side of the room, well, it's a telephone game.
Telephone.
It's a completely different thing, and I think that's what happened in so many hearsay parties that it got lost in translation. But the sum of it, for the most part, was he did ask about the statute of limitations for murder.
Wow, I like it. No, that's it. I do think that they've had those meetings before. In this trial. Say again?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Do you think, TalkThatLaw, do you feel like that everything that happened in that meeting was taken down?
I don't know, and we're gonna find out in 2 days because we're gonna go to Kayla's channel at 6 p.m. Central.
Well done.
She gonna tell it all. But I mean, these meetings could have happened before. We had other witnesses that were somewhat, not cooperative. One dude saying he's tired. I forgot his name. And then we had Tick. So we may have to go back and ask them, hey, did they have you in the room? And were you similarly situated as Woody? Did they proposition you to, force your testimony? So I guess that's something that the defense lawyers could explore on their own, just to circle back to that. But Friday.
On Friday, we're gonna get the tea. We're gonna get the tea. I like
Kayla
it.
might have 1 million views on her page on Friday.
We're gonna give her some immunity. We're gonna have to give her immunity.
Your immunity. They gave it over here already in the
We
chat.
gave it to her.
We got it.
Okay, so several months ago, YSL Bean, Mr. Bean, gave his testimony. That's the guy that was talking about he was so high he was gonna fall asleep. Let's pretend that the case continues. Can Brian Steele call him back, or so he can ask him? Because Brian Steele already interviewed him. They already asked him questions. They already did all that, and he's at home. He's gone back to work, gone to life. But can he say? Let's say the case continues, so he can say, "Hey, Bean, we want you to come back in here. We want to ask you some more questions."
If he chooses. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I'm just saying, I think it's a good strategy. Normally what I do is keep the person under the rule, keep them under the subpoena, and throughout the trial, we even heard the judge ask, man, this person be permanently or temporarily excused. And if the defense lawyer said temporarily excused, that means when it's their time to present their case in chief, they can recall them. Or even the prosecutors, they may double back and say, hey, we need to bring him back to button up a point, even before the defense start their case in chief.
Okay, so nothing. So no witness is ever done. They always got to look over their shoulder and check their mailbox for a subpoena because they could be asked to come back if they've not been said that they're done and that's finished. Is that fair?
Right. Well, it won't be a separate subpoena. You'll still be under the same subpoena. So basically, you're under the same subpoena. You have to come back throughout the duration of the entire trial, unless both sides tell the judge with absolute certainty that person may be permanently excused. Because at that point, they can leave the country and go on vacation like Milton. So once you're sure they can be permanently excused, then you can tell the judge. And that normally happens with like a witness that you really don't need, an inconsequential witness. Maybe not nobody as great as Bean, because he's a pretty good witness.
Okay, no, that's what's up. I appreciate it. What are you about to say, Tasha?
Now, I just want to ask, because it's been thrown out there. So if he is recused, would it be that they would start over from day, I think is 88?
It's like day 88. Let's say June 10th. June 10th.
Yeah.
And I think that's the $1 million question. I had seen a interview with Attorney Weinstein. He did an interview with the young lady. I forgot her name. I think I'm not a lawyer, but
Mel.
She does a lot of different TikToks. She's really good at her. And I don't know if there was a husband. They did a real good interview. And, he was asked that same question, Attorney Weinstein. He was like, we don't know because this is so much into uncharted territory that we really don't know. Do you bring in a new judge? Can you go back? Is it too big of a gap? Has the jury already been tainted since they've been gone so long? Are they looking it up? So this is a lot to explore. It's going to be what we call a case of first impression that it never happened before.
No, I agree with you. Like I said, I think the case is too far gone. The jury's been gone for 3 weeks. There's absolutely, unequivocally no way they're not aware. Shoot, some of these jurors might be in, some of the jurors might be in the chat. If you're a juror, put it in the chat. Say, I'm a juror.
Put it in the chat. All right.
And everybody else say you're a juror, so we don't know that the other person is a juror.
Right.
So just spam juror in the chat. But I don't think there's any way possible, just from that alone, to think that 18 men and women are not on social media, they're not going to church, they're not going to grocery store, they're not, just talking to their neighbors about this case. Because, and you live in Fulton County. Now, if you lived in Montana, if you lived in Alaska, maybe that would make sense that y'all wouldn't be talking about it. But we're right here in Fulton County. Y'all talk about it. It's a wrap. I don't see any way not to discuss it. And then when you got Fonnie Willis jet setting around Fulton County doing her chitlin circuits through churches, I'm sorry, there's no way that you can't see. Like, she's doing things that are drawing attention. Am I supposed to believe that nobody saw Nate on Comedy Central and that not stir up conversation? Like, yeah, Nate, all of that. So all of that around the block. I just think that your jury is compromised. There's no way that you're going to get a clean jury. And they've been gone too long. Yeah. That's my 2 cents.
Nate was all at the fundraiser. I seen him in the background when Fonnie was running for re-election.
He was there. He was at the called party. He was at Turner Chapel. Yeah. I was there when I was at Turner Chapel and did the live stream for Turner Chapel. He was there. You're
really making it easy for the appeals court at this point to go ahead and say, okay, this is too much.
Right.
You don't need to be on the case anymore. I don't know why they haven't told him, if you don't go sit down somewhere.
Boy, if you don't sit yourself down.
Right, there you go. in that tone.
So with that situation, right, is it possible that, because you guys are saying the jury may be tainted, is it a way that they can, poll the jurors to see, or, is it a way that they know if they've been looking up stuff? Because, if it was me, I would be looking up stuff from day one. I'm the wrong.
I'm gonna be a disobedient juror. I'm a disobedient juror.
I want to figure it out.
Unless you've been living under a rock, you're gonna know about this case. And I don't advise anybody to volunteer any information to Glennville. Yeah, Judge, I've been breaking the rules. I've been looking up the case. All right, 20 days in county jail. Thank you for telling me. So, no, I don't think anybody's going to come recording and telling themselves. Even though we have had situations where family members and friends would come. I've seen a trial where it come to tell that a jury was talking to me about the case, which is, even crazier. I don't know what was worse, the jury telling somebody that they couldn't trust, or the person actually taking the time to go to the court to tell on their own family member or friend.
That's wild.
I would be furious.
Wow.
I think they can poll the jury, but I think at the end of the day, let me just be honest. Let's say I'm juror number 9, right? I ain't been on social media or anything like that, but I know that I'm getting $25 a day messing with y'all. I'm telling you right now, if they're gonna call me in there and poll me, I'm saying whatever I need to say to get kicked off that trial. Yes, me and Woody is cousins. Me and Bean, we be going out shooting dice every Tuesday. I'm getting myself kicked off this. I watch Dear World Christian all the time. I'm in the chat. I'm in the best live chat on the planet. I'm always there. I'm getting kicked off that jury. I'm going. If you give me an out, I'm getting out for that jury.
I would have never been there. I would have been sick.
That's true. I would have probably got kicked off the start.
I would have been gone. You feel me? I would have never been there.
I would have got kicked off the start. But if they gave me an opportunity, if somehow or another I got on the jury, just like all these people saying, I'm a juror. I'm going to tell you right now, right? I am a former juror.
You got KD, Gloria, Missy Bed. Yeah. If they do it the right way, if they say, hey, Judge, I try my best to follow your rules, but every time I open my phone or I got in the car or radio, I inadvertently heard these things. It's not that I intentionally break the rules, but it happens. So, you got to let them go at that point.
But the lady who gave him the note said that she stayed by the store and he still kept her. She was trying to get off that trial.
Wow.
The jury selection?
Yeah.
She stayed by the green store.
Oh, okay.
I go by that store every day. She said my granddaughter had a party by the store. She was trying to get off that trial.
Look, I would have been like, look, I used to teach at Cleveland Avenue Elementary School, so I know what a McDonald's is. What's up?
Right, come on.
Look, what do I need to say to make this thing go away? What I need, but
So TalkThatLaw, we just asked Kayla this question and we need an answer. So you need to ask her this question on Friday for us. She posted a picture on her Instagram that said Godson, and she had Jeffrey Williams' nephew in the picture.
Oh wow! I wasn't aware it is. So what can be drawn from that? You think she may be the godson of Jeffrey Williams?
I know she said she know these people, but we just trying to see, how she know these people.
Ooh.
Oh, now that would be interesting, and might actually be because if she represents Woody, but at the same time she may have a close connection such as that to Jeffrey Williams. She may not reveal that on Friday, but you're more than welcome to ask. I don't even know if I even ask her that. Right? Somebody else has to ask her that, because the defense attorney in me won't allow me to let somebody, open themselves up like that. If that's the case, that may be the case. We just speculating.
Even if the jurors are not watching social media, other people are certainly telling the jury, even if they don't know they are on the jury. To me, I don't know how this is going to go.
On a side note.
I was about to say, you can't get on YouTube, you can't get on Instagram without strolling and finding somebody live that said something about YSL.
I mean, really, it's a meme at this point. It is a meme itself. But
do you think Fonnie would prosecute that case, or it's going to disappear in a year or so?
I think the Trump trial is gone. It's out of pocket. So that one is done.
Judge.
Say again.
For the judge that was recently arrested.
Oh, for that one?
Christina Peterson.
I don't think so. But she's already fired. So she's already kicked off the bench. So that's not. So it's not like you're just dogpiling. I think, though she was out of pocket for hitting the police officer, I do think she hit the police officer because she was drunk and she was not aware that this man in black is not the man in black that was hitting that woman, but it's a police officer. That's why everybody's saying like, hey, yo, there's an officer. So I don't think that they're going to try it. But on the same note, it will look very bad for Fonnie Willis if she doesn't do something, because it's going to look like, because Marvin Arrington put it out there like, oh, I called Fonnie Willis because we went to school together. That's already bad. And Marvin Arrington's name is coming up with a lot of really negative things about Fulton County. So that's not a good look. So if she doesn't do anything, it's going to be problematic. If she does do anything, it's just dogpiling. So I mean, that's on her.
So what's that reason why she got? Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. No, I was just trying to ask. Was that the reason why she got she lost her position because she hit the guy? Or was
it separate?
Separate. She was already. Yeah, she was already. She was already under. Right. So there's like multiple layers. There's levels to this, as my brother likes to say.
Levels. There you go.
She was already being.
So it escalated the issue.
Right. It exacerbated the problem, but she was already brought up on ethics charges or what they call systemic incompetence, just really bad decision making, opening up the courthouse to have a private wedding without going through the proper channels, throwing a bride in jail because she wanted to change her father's name on her wedding certificate. These little and threw the woman in jail for 2 days. Just a bunch of crazy things like that. That were way out of pocket, using her role as a judge to solicit cash apps for her birthday. Just really out of pocket stuff. And there were multiples of these. At one point, I think it was like 50. And they whittled it down. Marvin Arrington was so proud that they got rid of him. I'm like, dude, she still got 20 charges against her. And so, like, you didn't whittle 50 down to 0. You whittled 50 down to 20. That's not a flex, my guy. However, so
she's in Fulton County?
No. She is in Douglas County, which is literally on the other side of Atlanta. So Fulton is really like east and northeast of Atlanta, and Douglas is way out west. So, but she was she was in Buckhead, which is outside Lenox Mall, where Lenox Mall is. Most people have heard Lenox Mall, and there's lots of clubs, lots of fine dining, and such like that. She was at one of those establishments, and that's where everything hit the fan. But back to the go ahead.
So is this in Fonny's jurisdiction though? Because I believe one of her attorneys said they calling her to drop the charges.
That is correct. So the Red Martini Bar is inside of Fulton County.
Inside of Fulton. Okay, I got you.
Okay, so that's why. Because if it was somewhere else, Clayton or DeKalb or Cobb, we wouldn't probably even be having this conversation. But because it was in Fulton County, it's on Fulton County to prosecute her.
Jurisdiction, but she wasn't a judge in Fulton County.
That is correct.
I got you.
She's a magistrate judge out in Douglas County.
I got you.
But so Georgia has already said, like, you have a systemic problem, and we're considering not allowing you to be a judge anymore. Well, during the primaries, the people of Georgia, Douglas County, voted against her and actually selected somebody else to be their magistrate judge. So she's already fired. So come November, she'd have been finished. But here's the upshot. She goes to the club and assaults a police officer, gets her wig thrown off and all that kind of misbehavior. They just said, you know what? Let's go ahead and start this thing now. You are kicked off the bench and you cannot be a judge for 7 years. So even if she found some way to get herself reelected in a judgeship, she can't be a judge in Georgia for 7 years. Well, I thank you so much for that. All right, Talk That Law. I think we got all these questions chopped down, man. We got them.
Well,
we did it.
Okay.
We did it. All right,
hey, that worked for me. Hey.
I don't know what, somehow or another, the Honorable Yvette Daniels needs somebody to run her money. Okay.
Run her money.
Okay, run that money. I love it. But they talk about her when she was running a Cash App. Like, it was like judge-elect, so on and so forth. And mind you, she was a reality TV star, so please understand. Douglas County got exactly what they asked for. You hired a former reality TV star. That's exactly what you got.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
so she crossed over.
She crossed over a whole bunch of things.
Come on. So you might want to tell the truth.
I mean, really?
That's what they say.
All right.
Yeah, that's good. That's some good stuff. I definitely thank you again for bringing me up, and maybe we can do it again sometime in the future.
I love it.
I had a good time.
Well, no, man, I appreciate it, Talk That Law, and it has been a great day. And I really appreciate you spending the time with us. You are welcome whenever. You can shoot me a text, an email, smoke signal, whatever. Say, Jason, are you on? Can I come on and talk that law? I would love to have you come back whenever you would like. Everybody, real quick, man, if y'all could just jump in the chat real quick and just put Talk That Law. Just let him know we really appreciate him stopping by. Because, again, he didn't have to. And it was a great, and I learned a lot. We had some great guests, but you did a fantastic job of just sharing your insight and your wisdom. I still think you might be underselling yourself, saying you only been there 5 years. You probably
not 5 quite. I'll be 5 at the end of the year. But
that's right.
Yeah, right now.
Where did you go to law school?
Yeah. I went in Houston. I try not to really narrow it down because, I'm still trying to work out all the privacy angles with some of the people on YouTube or in the social space as well. So I'm still trying to get comfortable in that space. But
well, you're doing it like a natural pro.
Right. I'm gonna say, it ain't gonna be too hard. Houston, even though it's a big city, millions of people, the legal community is small, just like everything else. So they ain't like eventually,
Okay. Let me pick one last fight. Can you speak, because you just said something, the legal community is really small. Can you speak to, is it uncommon, like during the disqualification hearing here, it became clear that like Ashley Merchant had done some campaigning for Nathan Wade at one time. It became clear that Judge McAfee had given like $75 to Fonnie Willis's re-election campaign back against Paul Howard. I didn't think any of those things were like some kind of nefarious dealings and whatnot like that. Can you speak to like how it is, like the relationships that attorneys have, whether they're, in the criminal area or the civil, that they kind of keep crossing paths, and these things are kind of normal, or are they normal? Let me first of all ask you that. Are they normal? And then can you speak to those?
When you say normal, as far as like contributions,
like for example, like TalkThatLaw is running to be president of the law association. So I shoot him some money because he came on the show. I want to support him. 10 years down the road, we are on opposite sides of some debate or whatever like that. You're a judge, and I am trying a case in front of you, and they say, "Oh, well, Jason gave TalkThatLaw $50 when he was running for chief of whatever back in 2024. So he must be getting favors from him." No.
I mean, it's a law. We see it all the time. Attorneys would donate to judges' campaigns. I mean, and obviously they have to know that at some point or another, you're going to appear before that judge. Yeah. So I've seen situations where lawyers may donate to both judges that's running against each other just in case you pick the wrong one. You got money, but I don't, would that give you some favor in the courtroom? Who knows? Maybe it's not even intentional favor. Maybe it's a favor that the judge don't even realize he's doing. And this happened in the New York trial with Trump. Supposedly the judge there contributed, I think, $35 to the Democrats or to Biden or whatever the case may be. And they were saying, okay, that's enough to, recuse yourself. So that's a thin line because it's real small money. But in certain situations, in order to avoid not only impropriety, but the appearance of impropriety, even if it looks wrong, sometimes it's just best to just pass it up and let somebody else go. Especially in a high-profile case.
No, I appreciate that because I was wondering that, and I'm glad that y'all were here to answer that. But
right, yeah.
And I did want to. I was like, let me ask somebody smarter than me. What's going on?
Come on, you the school teacher. I don't know. I can't survive a day in a classroom.
Bro, you'd be surprised.
What grade did you teach? If you don't mind me asking.
Oh no, I taught second and first grade.
Oh, okay. Ooh, come on.
Yeah, so that was that. But we'll have to do that again.
But, thank you for your service, because I know it's not easy being in the classroom.
Oh no, it was wild.
Our teachers. Oh, but you made it through.
But I made it through. I survived. I did survive.
Without a RICO. Without a RICO. Let's go.
I hear it. Well, everybody, I want to thank y'all so much. Thank y'all for spamming TalkThatLaw, but please make sure you also go over and check out his channel. Young man is doing a great job of getting started here on these YouTube streets, sharing his wisdom, sharing his knowledge as he did here with us tonight. I think it would be a great thing for us to go over there, check out what he's doing, and make sure you subscribe to his channel and watch his content. Make sure you hit that little bell icon, all that kind of good jazz, all that. So make sure you get notifications so when TalkThatLaw does something the next time, you can check it out. I appreciate y'all so much. I hope you all have a fantastic 4th of July on tomorrow. Enjoy some good cookout. I don't know if they're doing fireworks in the middle of the week, but do that. Do all that kind of good stuff. Stay out of RICO, though. Don't stay out of RICO.
Stay out of it. Stay out of it. Stay out of Atlanta if you can help it.
Man, Atlanta must be stopped, man. Atlanta must be stopped. Bless her heart, man. Post City, she needs to be stopped. But everybody, I want to thank y'all so much. Thank y'all so much for hanging out. Thank you again to all of the stream sponsors and co-sponsors, forgive me, and Rhodes for the gracious super chat. Thank you very much, everybody. I'm looking forward to doing this again real soon. I think tomorrow I got to help Chief Executive Second Born finish moving her room around and my wife, but I will be back real soon.
God willing, now I'm still.
Yeah, God willing.
And the creek don't rise, I'll be here.
Absolutely. So everybody, thank y'all so much, and until next time, grace and peace. Take care.
Like for deal with Christian, yo, for deal with Christian, smash that bell for DWC, yo, smash it, just smash it. Hit that like for deal with Christian, for deal with Christian, smash that bell for DWC, yo, smash it, just smash it. Hit that like for deal with Christian.